Oh, don't you talk about it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another night of the Roiling League Campaign A. Thank you for your patience with our technical difficulties. Our streaming program collapsed at the last possible minute. So, we do have, for the first time, an actual announcement, which is pretty exciting. For those of you who can see our overlay, we have new character art for our intrepid team of adventurers. So, the full screen images of them, the full res images will go up on our social media accounts so you guys can get a better look at our characters. But you now have faces to put to the names and the voices of our characters. So we have Valerica and Selima in the at the top there. We've got Uther and Thea, and then Thurgle and Liv at the bottom. It's very exciting. It's very great to actually have this taken care of. So thank you to the resident artists. Tasha helped out with the process, and this was also assisted by Shadi Frank. I will include a link to her socials in our posts about the art. So thank you very much, Shadi. All right. We have no other announcements because we're not that cool yet. Um,
Well, I don't know about you. I'm pretty damn cool.
yes, you are cool. I am not that cool yet. So, and collectively, I bring the coolness factor down quite a bit. So,
My
And
mom
emotes
says
will
I'm
be coming up
cool.
soon
awesome.
to the comment.
Yes,
That's our next big target.
is emotes. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, so let's get started. Are we all ready, everyone?
Rock and roll.
Perfect.
We'll see.
All right. So, when last we left off, you had returned to the town of Bluxbert to resolve the issue of the Hag Coven that was responsible, at least in part, for the plague that had spread throughout the entire region. You had come into the custody of the mayor's child, and intent on returning her to her less than scrupulous father, you decided to return to the city and found that it was occupied, at least to some extent, by guards, knights, and soldiers directly from the empire itself, right from the capital city. Most of you spent your time hiding in the Puzzle Box Mansion, while two of you, Uther and Thea, went to proceed with the negotiations with the mayor and found him quite occupied with a cord around his throat and a state-sanctioned assassin taking care of his ineptitude. You were then paid for your trouble and summarily blackmailed by an advisor from the imperial capital who, seeing you as valuable but expendable agents, tasked you with going to the capital to resolve the problems that they were having there. Requesting a brief period to discuss with the rest of your group, you were permitted to leave and give an answer later. Although, whether or not it was a choice is really up for debate. Either way, you reconvened with your group and decided to, with the child still in tow, go to an abandoned inn called the Ugly Alligator, I believe it was, where you were discussing your plans for how to proceed. So, adventurers, how's that conversation going?
I would still
So I
like to
forget, did
prioritize. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, to start, did I lay out the part where I actually got a hold of our reward for doing the last job, or did we not hand out the money yet? Because I would like to reclaim some self-respect by handing out the cash.
Okay.
It's fine. You told us that we got paid, but we haven't actually seen the money yet.
No, we haven't.
Okay. Oh yes. So I managed to get us all blackmailed into helping an enemy state. However, I did secure our funding of 500 gold per adventurer for killing the one hag and escaping the cave. So, throw that out on the table.
Are Are the coins just like scattering everywhere now because you decide to throw it on the table?
Right.
Of course.
Well,
Yes, I got to do everything dramatically.
I'm not going to be cleaning that up.
Under the table, you go pick up those.
We have the child to deal with. Now, Liv. In the time that you've spent in the water plane, I know that you'd gotten more powerful. So I have to ask, did you manage to learn the teleportation spell?
I believe so. Let's Sabrina check, but I believe so.
Because that increases our options for mobility. It means that both you and I can teleport us back to Korensburg. Now, I want to deal with the child as soon as possible. That being said, we can't all travel. So it makes sense for Liv to stay here and for me to go and set up something for this child and have her be cared for.
I do have the teleportation learned, so we're good.
So this way, if all else goes to hell and we just decide to not deal with this, the lot of you can get out of here very quickly. Now, who's interested in coming back to Kornsberg? Who actually needs to get resources at this point?
As of right now, I am okay after the rest that we took on my lovely mossy rock. I'm okay.
This would be a great time to restock on any sort of provisions, any sort of magical items, any sort of literally any material good. I do want to stop over when I'm in Kornsberg at the Mages College and see what records I can find about the Lidless One, the entity that spoke to me, or spoke to all of us, with the hags.
Okay.
I come out from under the table. I think I would need to see if we could talk to our mutual associate and see how much gunpowder has been made. Are they in Kornsberg or?
They are in Kornsberg, yes, and so are your cannons.
Yes, I need my cannons.
Which might be worth putting in the mansion at this point.
Yes, I want my cannons.
Great.
And just a reminder, since you're headed back to the library of the Mages College, deep speech would be a good direction to head towards.
Right. So
I would appreciate, Valerica, is if you could stop at our favourite vendor and maybe catch up a little spell ingredients and things that we might need.
yes, if you could take a moment to jot down a list and send it to me, I'll pick up whatever spell components you need. Thea, do you want to go home?
I would love to, however, I'm not sure if I should stay behind just in case. At this point, who is staying behind and who is going?
I'm staying behind, but I do think that it would be good for you to go just because of the fact that you've made the best bond with this child so far. It'd be odd to send her off without you.
Then I would agree to go.
Like you better.
Okay.
I'm flexible either way.
Uther, Salima, what do you two want? We'll come back here today. I'll make that clear.
Okay, I was going to say I have a concern that this emissary of the empires is probably watching me at least pretty closely. So if we're going to be back the same day, I don't think he'll notice me gone. And if we're about to raid some tomb underneath a city that a platoon of soldiers couldn't handle, I might like to collect some potions and some other items that I'll need for whatever we may encounter.
Potions would likely be very helpful, actually. That
Yes,
and
also a nap.
a nap.
Yes, I'm still very exhausted from our travels.
So you're going to stay here, is what I'm hearing.
If you're willing to get the gunpowder and bring cannons back, then yes, I will stay here and nap. It is very, very difficult to bring them back.
It might be a bit tricky. I might need your help. Plus, I don't know what state they're in. They've been sitting outside for a while.
Oh, by the beach?
I don't think so.
Okay, that at least makes it somewhat better.
So it's me, Thurgle, and Thea, and then 3 of you stay. We can do that. By the way, Liv, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but inside the mansion, the pad that we enter on is in fact a teleportation circle.
Perfect.
So at any point, you can teleport to the inside of the mansion,
All right.
which is how I plan on getting us back. So wherever you guys are, just keep it on you, and we'll be back.
And how long do we plan on being on this trip to Kornsberg? Is this going to be fairly quick? Are we going to stay
Like-
for a while, or are we just dropping off and returning?
I'd say a maximum of 6 hours.
That
With
seems
the errands everyone needs to do.
If you need extra means to carry, Midnight is in the mansion. You could pull him out. He'll be fussy. It's all
Speaking of,
hell.
we may need to pick up some more horses while we're in Kornsberg.
Would you mind grabbing Archie for me from your family's stables?
So what I'm going to say is, from my
yes.
share of what we got right now, the 500 gold, just throw it at potions, and just bring me back whatever. Honestly, I'm pretty simple in that respect. I still
Are
have
there-
all my spell components right now.
Okay, are there any potions in particular you want?
Mostly just healing.
Okay.
They seem very necessary.
Well, Erica kind of chuckles as she realizes that there are 3 clerics in the party.
Don't forget to add copper to your list.
Yes.
Well, that we can take from any building that's nearby. There's plenty of pipes.
I'd like to just check the windows and stuff to make sure nobody's followed up on the group as they came in, so that we don't have somebody listening in, because we're using names.
Check.
As she's doing that, Thea, can you go grab the girl from the mansion?
21.
Yes. Shall I keep her
Actually,
in the mansion?
let's go in. No.
Okay.
You, me, and Thurgle are going to go in. I'm going
Because
to try
I'm
something.
unattuned.
You're unattuned right now. Okay, so you're holding it.
Okay.
And then the 3 of us are going to go in.
All right. Before you go, Valerica, here is my list for what I need you to try and pick up from Danira, and I have sent it to you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hmm.
To resolve your perception check, taking a moment to kind of look around. You're not seeing anything nearby. You don't hear anything. Nobody seems to be watching you.
Okay. Just wanted to be mindful because we're using first names.
Fair enough.
And I'm sending 250 of the gold that I made myself for this shopping trip. Anything that you don't spend on what I need, use your better judgment for what you think the group might need.
Sounds good.
You know we
Alright.
have our special deals with her, so. Actually, that being said,
Do you have any magic item that I can take her?
that's what I was
Because
going
of
to
the
look
deal
at my
you made.
inventory for, because it's been so long since we've been there. She's probably like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Um,
Literally anything.
yeah, you know what? How about, as fun as it was to be, oh no, I guess I've used up too many of that. Hold on. She's not going to want something used.
It's gently used, maybe.
How about you give her this dust of dryness?
Dust of dryness. Okay.
It turns water into marble-sized pellets.
Interesting. I'm not sure I've come across this before.
Apparently it can do necrotic damage and stuff. I'm assuming she might like it.
Probably.
Alright, so I give you the Dust of Dryness. It is a wondrous level item.
Wonderful.
Oh, by the way, in our travels, I hadn't gotten a chance to share this with you yet, but it may come in handy. Picked up a bag of devouring. So just know that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That could be tremendously useful.
Just thought you should know.
We also have a bag of colding in the mansion. It's sitting just outside the armory. So if anyone wishes to harvest any spell components from any creatures we slaughter and stabilize them, you can use that, and it will hold the spoiling time.
Perfect. Sorry, you said bag of holding, not hold.
Holding. Yes.
That's cool.
Speaking of spell components, and Uther's gonna slowly and painfully count off 1,000 gold pieces. Lady Valerica, please take this as a sign of trust, as this is more gold than I have ever given any human being, or ASMR. Yeah, please. Here's 1,000 gold. I need a gem-encrusted bowl. One of my spells that may be useful for us moving forward is Hero's Feast, and it requires a gem-encrusted bowl of approximately 1,000 gold pieces in value. I don't currently have any of those, so if you wouldn't mind finding me one, I would appreciate it.
Absolutely. I can pick that up. I have a jewel vendor, so I know where to get it from. Abalaba Humble Bumble.
Oh, old Abalaba.
God bless you.
I miss that little halfling.
She's my favorite gnome bitch.
She was a fiery little sprite.
She's amazing.
This is a person?
This is a person. This is a person in the upper crust districts of Korensburg that owns her own jewelry shop and franchise and is just a raging bitch. And when I asked her and called her out on it and commented on it, she told me, with a name like Abalaba Humble Bumble, you have to be a bitch. And I cannot say that I can contest that. It's just been one of the most charming memories of her.
What? One has to question the intelligence of a person who has the money to change their name and chooses not to.
I think it's a brand now, really. I think she just kind of committed to it.
All right.
Absolutely one of my favorites.
I let you be on your way.
All right. So the three of us hop in.
With the child.
The
She's
child's
already in there.
inside. So I'm going to grab her, GM, and can I use the teleportation circle in the mansion to teleport to the Indric estate in Korensburg without using a spell slot?
You don't know yet. You've never tried, actually, come to think of it.
I'd like to try.
Go for it.
Okay. So I gather everyone up.
Okay.
I explain to the girl, we're going to be going to a far-off land, and hopefully you're really going to like it.
Kind of looks to you.
You're going to learn more about magic. Remember, we talked about this, and I kind of looked at Thea for help.
Oh, okay.
It's okay, Hannah. We can do this. Trust everything that Lady Indric is saying. She only wants to care for you and keep you well.
Okay.
All right.
Is will it hurt?
No. But it is going to be bright.
Okay. I think I'm ready.
Okay. I'm gonna try to tether the teleportation circles together and teleport the party
Okay.
and see if that works.
Okay. A moment passes, and your vision goes dark for a moment, and then immediately fills with the internal lighting of the teleportation chamber in the Indrik estate. And you're fairly confident that you can use the teleportation circle in the mansion to get to where you need to go. Nothing untoward happens.
Perfect. So, we downstairs?
Yep.
Can you refresh us and tell us what it looks like?
Sure. So, this is a relatively simple room. Plenty of space to move large amounts of things. You can see that since the last time you were here, the doors have actually been replaced. They're now much larger to allow passage for either greater numbers or larger objects. It will certainly make transit a lot easier. So there was a little bit of refurbishment done. Standing in the room of clean and polished kind of marble and plaster walls, Thea, you can immediately tell that it is a far cry from the ramshackle housing of your youth, and a definite far cry from the falling apart, destitute town you were just in. Everything is clean. It smells nice. You can see there are torches on the walls of what you can tell are continual flames. So no heat, but plenty of light in the area. There are 2 guards standing in the room, pikes and shields, who, upon your entrance, react very swiftly. Shields pointed in defense, spears at the ready.
Is that any way to treat a lady of the house?
You're one of them. They both kind of stand up. Countess Indrik, we did not know you were coming. Welcome home.
Surprise!
Thank you.
And kind of look at the rest of the group.
Is my mother in?
She's not at the moment. No.
Who is?
Lady Valna is in. Of course, the staff are here.
Perfect. Would you mind running ahead and requesting an audience with Lady Volna?
By all means.
Thank you.
He exits out of the room and disappears down the hallway.
Okay. Is this door big enough to get like a horse and a cannon through?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Thurgle, does it look like your cannons can fit through this?
They should fit perfectly fine.
All right, I am going to spend some time after we get settled and I kind of glance at the child and cast some spells that can help us out with moving that because I don't want to help you carry it. That thing was heavy.
For good reason, if you remember why.
Yes. Yes. Thea, welcome to my home. One of them.
One of them. I can only imagine. I've actually never been to, well, this side of town. I don't even want to show you my old side of town. In this moment, I feel Thea's probably just going to hold Hana and just hold her a little closer and remind her just to stick with me and everything's going to be just fine.
Okay. It takes her a moment, but she recovers from the sudden shock of having weapons pointed at her. And she just kind of looks around, her face a little, agape. Like,
So I'm going to usher us out of the room
Okay.
and upstairs to the main floor and go start making my way over to Lady Volna. Two of you may want to stay here for a minute. Three of you.
I was about to say 2.5 or technically full 2.
Circle, I think your cannons are out front. Literally out front, if you want to go check.
Okay.
Thea, just stay in the area for a minute.
Do I still have the
Absolutely. I figured you'd want to speak to your mother by yourself.
Yes, unfortunately she's not here, which complicates matters, but this is not that uncommon for my family, actually.
You had a question, Largle?
Yes, if I still had the symbol that was given to us from the House of Indrek when we first arrived.
You do.
Many
Assuming you
months
didn't
ago.
lose it. Yeah.
So I'm going to pull that out and put it visible as
Okay.
I walk out the front door.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Familiar enough with the area, you can navigate around plenty. Outside in front, you do not see your cannons immediately. You do see.
Please go ahead.
As I say, you do see your you see where there would be like stables available for horses, so it's possible they've been put away somewhere. You see a few of the staff kind of milling about doing their various jobs, cleaning, scrubbing, delivering things.
I try to get the attention of one of the staff. Excuse me.
Kind of looks at you for a moment. Sees the sigil pinned to your cloth. See kind of a middle-aged human, kind of weathered skin, clearly one of the staff who works outside more than anything else. Can I help you, sir?
Yes, many months ago I have entrusted 2, I think it was 2, I don't remember, but it was a few large cylinders of metal. I called them cannons. I don't know if you know the name or not, but have you seen such items anywhere on the property where they may have been moved or stored?
Right. I remember them being here. I think we got them in the back of the stables. You go take a look.
Of course, thank you.
Right.
Also, when you
yes.
can you get someone to bring me some bread and cheese?
Bread. Right away, sir.
Thank you.
Kind of totters off.
And so I head towards stables.
Okay. Going into the stables, you do recognize some of the horses that you guys have seen before. A few that you don't recognize. It's fairly expansive. It's almost an entire building in its own right. But in the back, you can see that there's storage for like crates, barrels, boxes, chests, and there are 2 large draped objects.
I hurry over, grab onto one of them, and just yank it straight off.
Okay. After a moment of collecting yourself from the sudden torrent of dust that kind of settles in, you see in all of their glory your cannons.
Oh, I place my hands on them. I'm admiring the craftsmanship. Place my face against it.
A little rough, but cold, comfortable.
I immediately inspect for any rust, any wear and tear, any physical damage they may have incurred, either in the base or in the barrel itself.
Sure, go ahead and make an investigation check.
That is a 6.
6? Okay.
Oh, I am tired, so that should be at
At disadvantage. Okay.
So it's definitely still a 6.
No, it is a 3. Oh wait, no, that's a 9. So yeah, it's a 6.
6? Okay.
I'm like 2 for a second there.
Okay.
He's really tired in real life. Can't tell his numbers apart over here.
You are exhausted, so it takes you longer than you would have expected. But you do look around and investigate. You don't see anything. It looks as though they've been maintained well enough, but you might need to, try them out, test them out, or do a more thorough investigation when you're not quite so haggard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any stable hands nearby? Anybody available to speak to within the immediate stable?
The same gentleman is still there.
Excuse me. I am
yes.
fairly incapable, but I would like some help to string up a horse to these cannons to bring them back inside the house.
Inside the house?
Yes, they will not be there long. We will be taking them with us. I just need help to get them in there.
Right, I'm gonna need, all due respect, so I'm gonna need permission from one of the heads of the house.
That is totally fine. I understand your predicament.
Right. So, he kind of looks at you expectantly.
Oh, did you need tip? Is that what you need?
No, I'll ask for you.
Oh, thank you. At this point, I am going to look around to see if there's any cannonballs that were stored in that area as well.
You? Yeah, not really. They've been crated and kind of packed in now, but you do find a few. About half a dozen. Yeah. All right, so you spend the next 15, 20 minutes doing that.
Yep.
Valerica, what you doing?
So I want to go straight over and talk to Lady Velna.
Okay. You go to your usual waiting room where you kind of receive guests on a regular basis. You wait for a moment before the guard opens up the door, and you see your great aunt Volna come through. As soon as she sees you, a bright smile appears on her face. Oh, Valerica, dearly, how are you?
I'm all right. Find myself in a very interesting predicament, and I'm hoping I can get your help.
Well, tell me all about it.
I'm gonna briefly summarize everything that happened.
Goodness, that sounds horrible.
And now we have a child that I don't really have a place for. I sent a message ahead to my mother. I was hoping she would have told you.
She did mention something, yes?
Right, the child's outside.
Well, truth be told, I'm not all surprised that you brought someone. It happens to almost every member of our family. So, well, bring her in. Let me take a look at her.
This does not mean I want to adopt her. This is not me putting in a bid for adoption and bringing someone into the Indric family. I just have a straggling child that would have been left to die. So she gets to go through the full evaluation, see if she's useful. And if she is, maybe then we can talk about it. But this is not me trying to induct someone into our household. I want to be very clear about that.
Understood. Kind of looks at you a little strangely.
I firmly hold my stance, like, yes.
Well, bring it to me. Let me take a look.
Right, and there's a cleric with her. Thea.
Well,
Cleric
right.
of Bahamut, so there's that.
Oh, well. Glad you're keeping it close.
Yes. And I'm gonna ask one of the guards to go grab them and bring them over.
All right. Gives a nod.
Jimothy.
Jimothy.
If you would be so kind.
Right away, my lady. He takes off. A few moments pass, and Thea, one of the guards, reappears and looks at both of you. Says, "You've been requested in the parlor room, so wouldn't mind. Please come with me."
I grab Hana's hand and we follow along.
Okay. You were led through a rather fine estate. It is polished and clean. It is pristine in almost all ways, but it carries with it a strange air of rustic pragmatism. There aren't the embellishments and the frivolity of what you've seen a lot of the kind of higher end parts of Kornsberg. I mean, you've definitely seen it in the Grand Temple where there's filigree everywhere and things are adorned with all manner of complicated things. Here it's very austere, very simple, but it's very well made and maintained. Like this is absolutely money, but it's not the same degree of waste that you might be accompanied to. Yeah.
I feel as if Thea is looking around, somewhat shocked that there's not embellishments and jewels, especially after what I've seen in the mansion and what I'm used to Lady Indric dress and whatnot. So there's definitely an appreciation, but I'm also trying to hide that as well at the same time.
Okay. All right. Um, Hana is attempting to hide none of it. She's like, she's shocked. Comparing to where you could tell she lived, which was in the city hall of Bluxport, this is really nice. Like her home was nice compared to everywhere else in Bluxport. This is very, very well off compared to her, mansion where she was from. So she's not hiding it at all. Like she's looking at everything. She's trying to be very prim and proper. Like she's been trained well to be stately almost. But you can see she's not very good at hiding wonder. Yeah.
That might make Thea smirk a little bit.
Okay.
Because I feel that Thea's excited to see that she's in awe. She's kind of seeing a little bit of where her life could go type of thing.
Okay. All right. I like it. It takes you longer than you might have expected. It's a very large building. But you are eventually led past. At this point, you've lost count of the number of like doors and passageways, and eventually you are led into a lovely receiving room. You can see Valerica sitting on a very kind of plush-looking couch. There are bookshelves lining the walls, lovely carpeting on the floor, a couple of tapestries hanging. There's a window that opens up to somewhere. Can't really make it out. You see that there's like a small kind of coffee table with teas and drinks and small eats there, and you see that in one of the kind of single chairs is this older lady. She appears human, and let's get her description. She's got kind of sharp and stern looking features. She's definitely getting up there in age, a little more venerable. But she is prim and proper. She's wearing this kind of heavy green, almost like fur trimmed coat dress ensemble with like a single like over the shoulder cape with embroidered, almost like a burnished gold under it. She looks very regal and very proper, and she kind of turns to look at you and Anna, and almost all of that stern, kind of almost etched stone-like sternness in her face kind of vanishes for a moment as she picks up this broad smile with bright eyes. She looks at both of you. So, you must be Valerica's friends.
Indeed, this is Thea.
And Thea bows. Thea bows immediately, and I just say, "Milady."
You're very kind. But please stand. And this little one.
This is the girl I spoke of. Would you like to introduce yourself?
She kind of hides behind Thea again for a brief moment, and then Thea, you hear her take like a breath and then step out, and she does this overly deep bow, trying to, and this really awkward, kind of like almost falling over curtsy. I am. She kind of catches.
Oh.
I am Hannah from Bloxford. I am the daughter of the mayor. Thank you for inviting me to your home and receiving me as a guest. She pauses for a moment, like she's trying to think. Yes. And you hear kind of under her breath, I think I got that right.
I'm gonna look at my aunt
Thea
and
just
smile.
looks over at Hana and nods.
She kind of
Yes,
beams
I
up
think
at
both
you.
Thea and Lady Indrik are proud.
She beams up at you and then tries to adopt a very serious face again. Valna looks at you, Valerica. Lovely.
And she has an aptitude and an interest in magic.
Indeed. Well, come sit, both of you. Enjoy some tea and nibbles. Hana wastes no time in rushing over. She seems caught between decorum and excitement at this point. As she goes, and she kind of peers around. And Valna says, have whatever you like, dear.
What's on the table? I'm curious.
You're curious? One of the servants had brought like an assortment of like teas. Would look like maybe kind of afternoon or early evening, like sherries and things. There's tiny sandwiches, small tarts. Little tiny like petit fours. Like
I
little
have one
tiny
of those.
cakes and little
I have a tiny
biscuits.
cake.
Okay. You see
I
Hana
think Thea
follows suit
watches
and
what
picks up.
Lady Indrik takes first. I think Thea watches what Lady Indrik picks up, almost to see, well, what is she gonna eat? Okay, I'll eat the same thing too, even though my eyes are huge at the sight of all these delicacies.
Yeah, I go for the little petit four, and I have that.
You see that Thea, your instinct is right in line with Hana's. As Hana kind of waits for a moment, looks at what Valerica picks up, and then tries to pick one up herself, and she stands very proper with a little plate, a little spoon, a little cake, and then she looks at the other available kind of couch, like a 2-3-seater couch, kind of looks at it as she's now facing the conundrum of how she's going to sit on it. It's slightly too high for her. So
I'm gonna sit on the edge and just look and wait.
She kind of sits.
I'm power playing this child so hard.
And you hear her mutter a quick incantation, and the mage hand appears and holds her plate for her as she scrambles up top onto the couch, and it brings it over, and then she just dismisses it. And Valna looks over at you, Valerica, like kind of gives you that glare of knowing.
Like I said, magically inclined.
So I see. Well.
See, her father had sent her away to train with 3 hags. After a heated conversation with them, we all felt it best that she comes with us.
We're not in the business of kidnapping, but those exceptions can be made.
By the laws and ordinances of the country of Goravia, this child now She kind of swallows and looks around the room. Belongs to us.
She gives a long kind of nod of understanding, and you can see actually both Thea and Valerica make insight checks to see how much you can pick up off of this woman.
Oh my god, nat 1. I am flustered beyond fucking belief
Plus
right
what?
now. I'm just sitting. +6, so 7.
Okay.
Please don't tell me you nat 1 too.
I did not fare very well as well. I got a 6. I might as well be flustered too.
Okay, fair enough.
No one can focus on anything in this room.
No, apparently between the aunt you've known your entire life and you have no reason to be flustered around, and this child who casts magic, apparently you're caught in between these.
This is me bringing home a pet on crack and being like, "Can you take care of it, baby?"
So, she gives kind of a long nod, and she gets a strange expression to her face for a moment, and you can hear she kind of speaks a little more flatly. I'm somewhat familiar with their laws. So.
In Celestial, I say to her, "Please help. I have no idea what I'm doing. And I can't have a kid around when I'm going and killing and burning countries down. Like, this is ridiculous."
So, Thea, you understand what she's saying.
Yes, you do.
Velma responds in very broken Celestial. It is not a native language for her, but she responds
But
in
family members pick it up.
Well, considering Celestial is very song-like in its presentation, this is like a slightly bad singer. You just can't quite hit all the notes right. It was a little out of tune. It passes, it's acceptable, but not winning any prizes. But she does respond. Just leave her here. We'll take care of it. Your mother should be back soon, so I'll have a word with her. You may do so as well if you like, but we'll find where to put her.
In Celestial, I'm going to respond, "We're only here for a few hours because we're currently being blackmailed by their government. And I have to go sort that out. And if we refuse, it is an act of..." I'm going to spell out WAR because I don't know if Celestial has a word for war.
It does, yeah.
Okay. So, war.
She kind of pauses for a moment.
I'm going to smile and just, like, very gently and daintily eat my petit four.
Well, whenever this matter is settled, you must tell me what happened. But please,
I will.
Please try to avoid any diplomatic incidents. Trained you,
But I have diplomatic immunity.
There's no such thing. If there were, you wouldn't be being blackmailed.
I know.
She kind of looks over at you,
I feel like
Thea.
this entire time Thea is just emulating whatever Lady Indrik does. So she's aggressively drinking tea. I'm aggressively.
You know what? Make a
tea.
performance check. I'm curious to see how this goes.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness. I'm so scared. 10?
Okay. 10 is not atrocious. So you think you've got it. You're feeling fairly confident. You're about a second or half a second behind. Valerica takes a bite. You quickly try to catch up to take a bite. She takes a sip. You take a sip. You notice that Hana is in her own little world right now, enjoying the kind of the tea and the cakes all by herself in there. What was that?
And the free music.
And the free music, yeah. She kind of looks between the three of you for a moment as you're speaking. I don't know those songs.
They're pretty, aren't they?
Very pretty.
I'll teach you one day.
Like that.
Good.
So, he resumes in common. You're here but a few hours. Do you require anything else before we find a place for our young, a young friend?
I do. I need to go stop over at a few shops and pick up some components. Actually, there's a name. If you can start issuing a research request on for me.
I'll do my best.
An entity reached out and spoke to us, and summarily laid waste to hordes of people, identifying himself as the lidless one, the all-seer. We found a nearby sculpture that was emblazoned with deep speech. Seems to be a malevolent entity, from what we've come to understand, and we are now on his radar.
You are having some adventures, aren't you?
Always. By the way, I have to ask you something.
Yes.
When we left that night to go to this quest in Gravia, there were two other contestants that had interests. Have my brothers taken care of those?
Her mouth opens for a moment. And she's about to answer, and you hear the door open behind you. Thea, you turn around and you see a woman walk in who is not all dissimilar to Valerica, though minus the red hair. Very kind of tall, stately woman, a slight globe. You can tell she too is an Aasimar. Wearing these kind of deep, kind of very intricate clothes. You know, in a departure from what most nobility wear, kind of a pair of pants and a heavy set of boots, a long kind of flowing kind of cape and cloak with kind of cloth pauldrons. As you hear her speak, I believe they're taking care of some of those issues right now, Valerica, darling.
I wanted to kill the dragon. Ugh.
There's been no news of the dragon just yet, but I'm sure you'll hear all about it. Now, introduce me to your friend.
Right. This is Thea. She's a cleric of Bahamut. You met her that night, I believe.
Yes, I did. The champion of the festival. Good to see you again, dear. How are you?
Thea bows, and it's just, I'm doing quite well. Thank you. And I say no more.
I'm glad to hear it.
And this is our new young friend.
Ah. Well. She gives kind of a slight inclined nod and bow.
She's the daughter of the mayor of Bluxpert city on the edges of Goravia.
Well. Wonderful to have you, young one. We're very honored to have such an esteemed guest in our home. She stands up
And I say in Celestial, the child now belongs to me and I'm giving her to you. I don't know what to do.
kind of gives a half smile. Doesn't say anything in response as Hana tries to kind of hop off the couch, puts her plate down, stands up, does another one of those like deep bows and awkward curtsies. Thank you for inviting me to your home. Like Lady Valerica said, I am Hana. I am the daughter of the mayor of Bluxpert. Thank you for inviting me to your home. Wait, I already said that. It is an honor to be here. See, Drada kind of raises an eye. I will work on that one.
Aww.
And I'm gonna kneel down to the girl and say, "This is my mother."
She kind of looks between you, her eyes grow wide, and she tries to bow even further, almost completely falling over. It is truly a pleasure to meet you.
She's going to take care of you. We have some business to go attend to. But you're going to stay here for a while. She is a very powerful magic user. She can teach you a lot.
Kind of looks at you, and then looks back at you. You know magic too? Yeah, yes, dear, I do know magic. And I hear you do too. I do. And she immediately starts the incantation to conjure a mage hand. And then she kind of pulls her down. Kind of like tries to grab her hand and pull her down. And she does that same trick again with the coin behind the ear. I see you have quite a few spells under your belt. Well, I'm sure we'll have plenty of fun together. Valerica?
Yes.
I'd like to speak with you in Thea, if you don't mind.
But of course.
Dearest aunt, would you mind taking care of her? No problem with that.
All right, we'll be back.
Okay.
I'm gonna summon Sparks. Here, you can play with Sparks, and just kind of shoot my great aunt like a.
Ah.
Valna just kind of shakes her head.
I feel in that moment, Soul jumps out of behind my hair and decides he's also gonna get it on this.
All right. So Soul, Sparks, and Hana are now entertaining themselves as Valna watches them. Andrada begins to walk out of the.
I'll follow.
Okay. Following through, you are eventually led to her office. Valerica, you're fairly familiar with it. Thea, as you walk in, you see a kind of large, expansive room, more bookshelves kind of everywhere. These ones half filled with books and half filled with an odd assortment of trinkets and objects. Some that look mundane and some that look potentially magical. All look like they're from all over the world. You can see a variety of designs and styles, and in the middle, kind of a central desk with kind of papers and scrolls and books and quills in various places. As Drada kind of rounds the table and sits in her seat, and she beckons you to sit in the other chairs that are available.
I'm gonna kind of casually like hop in one of the seats and just like sit with my leg crossed over and all like relaxed.
I do the exact opposite of what she just did. I feel Thea just kind of stiffly walks over and sits down slowly and attempts to try to get comfortable, but I don't want to, so it's a lot of this and
Okay.
a lot of okay.
Sounds good.
A lot of that going on.
All right. So, tell me about your adventure. Sounds quite interesting.
Magical plague. Very similar to the one that affected hobgoblins. Seems to have been revived, but affecting humans as well.
Interesting.
Got a bit nervous that it would hit Shadowfen, so we went out to go explore and see what was the cause of it. Ran into a very hostile nation of Garavia.
Oh yes, the atrocious.
Specifically the city of Bluxpert. Now, it is worth noting on the route we went by Water Ferry.
Yes, you
Bartered passage. It was an experience, and at one of the ports, about a day's travel out, most of the crew and guards and our lovely contestant were all killed by vampire bats.
It looks for a moment. That doesn't seem like a fun way to go.
He was an asshole. I didn't
he
mind
was
at all.
awful, but
He was terrible. He was truly deplorable.
Well, the guild
I
isn't
only
known
wish
for
his death could
taking
have been
in.
slower.
There's no need to be cruel. The guild isn't
He was
known for its discerning
awful.
characters.
Ugh. All right. Anyway, we got there. Animals aren't allowed in Garabia,
Yes.
and the only sightings that we had of animals were horrifically mutated.
Oh no, that's interesting.
You said there were eyes everywhere, right?
Yes, that's correct. I believe I saw about 10 or more eyes on one animal alone.
And it was like a sparrow or something. Very strange.
That is odd. I've heard of things like that happening too often. Occasionally, things like that crawl out of old ruins.
So we ended up having to kill these zombie risen things and collect their left ears for passage into the city because the city was quarantined and locked down.
Oh, that sounds about
So
right.
we handed over an absurd amount of ears. These things are, when they die and become resurrected by this plague, are crazy fast with tendrils shooting out of their back. Poor Liv and Thurgle are back, by the way. When we were traveling there, we ran into them fighting a river fury. Apparently, they've been in the water plane. There's a lot that's happened.
Are they alright?
That really remains to be seen. I don't know. They are functioning. Are they all right? Thurgle seems okay. He's outside looking for his cannons right now. He's
Oh,
just
he's
very
here.
tired and crotchety. Liv is still in Goravia, holding the puzzle box mansion.
Understood. Well, hopefully they can come visit for a time.
Yes, they both miss you dearly. Anyway, we went into the city. The mayor said that the hags are the cause of it. There's a coven of hags, which is strange enough that there is a coven of hags. So it piqued my interest. Said they also took a child, that child. Apparently, what ended up happening was he sold his daughter, the mayor sold his daughter into some sort of an exchange and got the hags to release this magical curse that was in the name of the All-Seer, that he had hoped would just take out a village of goblins, but shockingly, a plague spreads. And that's what our neighbors are up to. How's your day been?
I wish I could say it was good, but we don't have to worry about that.
Oh, and we're being blackmailed. Forgot to include that bit.
I'm really not surprised. Like I said, atrocious people.
Truly and
Though
honestly.
what you could have done to...
Oh, existed. We
yes,
fucking existed.
That's fair. They don't really need much. They'll come up with any excuse.
So the mayor's been assassinated. The child is now legally ours. And it was a political assassination, and I'm still unclear on the details of the blackmail. Apparently, I thought we had to look into their political structure, but now I'm hearing something about having to go under the city. I don't know. Thea, do you have anything to contribute? Did I leave anything out?
Well, if I may speak, I did want to say the mayor was assassinated as we were there watching.
Well, that's certainly unusual.
Yes, fortunately, we kept the girl out, so she did not witness any of it.
Thank goodness for that. Assassinated by who? You attempt to apprehend the assassin at all? Not like any of you to just stand by and let someone die.
He paid me. Well, he paid us. Apparently, it was political assassination, and I know better than to get involved in the foreign affairs of governments as a noble.
Yes, that is correct. And also, before word gets out, I was not the one that spoke with him. It was this big, giant loaf that talked with him instead of myself.
Well, alright then. Sounds like you have quite the conundrum to deal with.
Yes, so if we leave or ignore their summons and cries for help, It is. They will consider it an act of war.
Yes, among the other dozen or so that they consider acts of war.
Do you care? Do we have to do this?
I would
Am I-
recommend it. You've stumbled onto something that's problematic. I mean, you're not going to risk a political incident,
No, I wouldn't.
but
But I hate them.
well, that's fair. But I would be more concerned about them sending assassins after you. They tend to do that quite a lot.
Well, they can't be very efficient if they can't even weed their own garden.
Well, as far as you could see, they did. Right in front of your face, too.
Oh, that was hardly the solution, is killing the person that hired the hags? They didn't kill the hags. This entity, the Allseer, by the way, laid waste to all of them immediately.
Hmm.
Yeah, very concerned about that one.
Well, then. I'd recommend investigating. Doesn't sound like something we can just leave be.
Yes, I know. I'll go play ball.
Well,
The joys of being a noble.
not just that, but we can't really afford to have many troubles at our borders. We already have some inside. So,
Please do elaborate. Do I need to be here?
no. I'd rather you weren't. But the noble houses are getting a bit uppity with one another.
Well, Belkin should be happy.
Well, they're fine with us, but no, the troubles down south are getting quite out of hand. I'm hoping your brother resolves this dragon issue rather quickly. I hope it's not really that big of an issue.
I wanted to kill the dragon so badly. That's such an Indrik thing to do. I wanted to cast my name on the wall with all of the other greats that have slayed dragons.
Maybe you will. You might need your help.
No, I'm being fucking blackmailed. This is fan-fucking-tastic.
Well, then you cast your name on the wall with all the Indriks who've ever been blackmailed.
Oh, that's not nearly as impressive.
Well, there are a lot more of us here. At least you're in good company. Goodness knows I've been through it a handful of times. But no, there's a lot of unrest and unhappiness among the nobles. So,
Do you need anything from us? Do you need us to focus on anything, or is this something you're handling behind closed doors?
make sure that whatever's in that blasted country does not come to us.
And what if anything I do does start a war?
It won't. I can almost guarantee it. They don't.
So they're just blowing smoke.
For the most part, yes. Like I said,
Good.
I'm not worried about war. I'm worried about assassins being sent out, and I'm hounding you forever because what they lack in a military presence, they absolutely make up for in grudges.
What an inefficient use of their money. That's no way to run a country. Oh, we can't handle our own stuff, but we'll send assassins after people because we're pissed.
I'm not one to pretend to understand what the Emperor does with his time.
Right, but now we're one to take in one of his citizens. So,
One of our citizens now. He is of Albinor.
not a recommendation for an adoption. I want to be very clear.
I will decide that either way. We'll see what she can do.
All right. Have fun.
Oh, you know I will.
She seems to have a pretty strong backbone, so she won't break that easy.
We'll see what power she can muster.
My lady, may I ask, will she be cared for?
Of course she'll be cared for. What we do
Kind of look at Thea like
Thrace,
the fuck.
Will she have protection?
you brought her to our house. She'll have our protection. Much as that could mean, as long as things are stable.
I understand. I just feel we've all, well, most of us have grown quite attached to her at this point.
Understood. Don't worry. She'll stay here for the most part, but we may take her to the estate up north.
Very well.
It may be
And-
an easier transition for her, actually.
Possibly.
Ooh.
Depends on what we're going to do with her.
Is there any thing that Kornsberg needs from us? I'm unsure if you feel there is enough protection for the city.
Wait, whatever happened to that cult that we found in here a few months ago with Levin Thurgle that was underneath the religious center? And we sent.
Oh, yes, you were asking about that.
How did that pan out?
Well, we intercepted one of their agents in Shadowfen.
Really?
Yes. Didn't go well for them, unfortunately.
I'm not surprised.
But we haven't heard or tales of them in quite some time.
Good.
Doesn't mean
I'll
they
make sure
can't
to tell
come up again another point, but we just haven't heard or seen any activity, which personally I'm thankful for. There's plenty of going on in this city that I'd rather not deal with. It's only been a few weeks since you've been gone, and already so much has happened. What, these paladins running around?
They started taking up shape at one point. I remember that.
Yes, talking about the Bright One, the Bright Lord. Yes,
What
accusing
deity is
everybody.
this?
I've never heard of him, who knows? All I know is
feel
they're
like
running
this
around
is where
accusing
the
everyone
camping-
left and right of colluding with fiends, so zealous morons.
All right.
Yes, last I heard there was some traveling around to other neighbors, so keep an eye out for them.
What's the name that they go by? I don't remember.
The Concordius Luciferus.
Concordius Luciferus. I'm gonna make a note of that. Valerica makes a note of that in her journal.
Yes, they call it the Concord of Light.
Yes.
Absolutely shameful how they would co-opt every other paladin order. But I'm sure it will be sorted out in time. Who knows? New groups rise and fall and either disappear or they're absorbed. So they do just make some trouble here and there. Besides, they're not exactly friends with many in the Mages College who tend to cut deals with fiendish beings.
Speaking of, I do need to go over to the Mages College. Some spell components that I need to pick up.
Very well.
Then I got to go back to being blackmailed.
Well, I won't keep you any longer. Goodness knows we both have plenty on our plates.
Please send a summons or a message if you need anything.
Don't worry, I will. You may have need of your friends, but hopefully it doesn't come to that.
All right. I'm gonna get up and go give her a kiss on the forehead.
You most dearest. Be safe
Love you
out there. Don't do anything stupid. No, more so than usual.
I'll try not to send any more people your way. And I'm gonna usher Thea out.
Thea, it was lovely as always.
It was a pleasure to see you again. And Thea nods and follows Lady Indric out.
All right. Sounds good.
So, one down.
All right.
We're gonna go out to meet Thurgle out front.
Okay.
I'm hoping that our timelines are overlapping at about this point.
Yeah, they're overlapping at about this point, I'd say. Absolutely. Yeah. You see one of the servants kind of approaching, kind of rushing away, being a little kind of confused and a little harried, and he almost bumps into you. Oh, Lady Indric. Didn't know you were
Hello.
here. Wish you good as any. Master, someone don't know who he is. Assume he's one of your guests.
Dwarf.
Yes. Was asking for permission to bring his things into the estate.
Right. probably best to do that later today. So, can you show me where he is?
Absolutely. Kind of gets it's almost like a huff of I'm being pulled in many directions, and then turns around and leads you right to the stables, where you can see Thurgle is lovingly looking at everything and hanging out with his cannonballs and trying to.
Boy, Thurgle.
Yes.
Mom says hi.
Your mother is here.
Yes,
Oh, I must say hi to her. Is she still inside?
I think so. If you want to stop by.
Oh, perfect. So the cannons, did you say it's okay that we can do what we need
Yes,
to?
of course, but let's do it when we're leaving.
I just wanted to be efficient, see if we could get it in sooner so we didn't have to worry about it later. I am tired as fuck, so I want to get things done.
Right, but I think if anyone uses the teleportation circle and teleports into a cannon, they're going to be very angry with us.
That would be funny though.
That sounds like a terrible thing to stub your toe on.
Oh, it is, trust me.
Or get materialized into. Right, the scar on your face. Memories, as always.
Oh yes, it has good story with it.
We can head out, and you can see her on the way back.
Sure, let's do that.
All right. Daenerys, then Mage's College. Actually, Abalaba, Daenerys, then Mage's College, if I'm remembering the map right.
Okay, sounds good.
Daenerys! I can never get her name right. Daenerys.
Daenerys. She's only like your
The only vendor.
the only
that we
vendor
use.
you really talk to on a
Yeah,
regular
Daenerys.
basis. Fine.
What's the name of her shop?
It's true.
Her shop is Nothing Inventive. God, now I gotta pull that up. You guys have not been to her place in a long time.
I haven't been in Kornsberg in a while.
Oh, also, we need to stop by Alchemist to see if we can get more of the proof powder.
Right, they're in the main
That's true.
market. Right?
Yeah.
We don't need to go down to the docks to see the blacksmith.
We
No.
don't need to.
Well, I know you want to. We'll get there.
Exactly. We don't need to, but it is my home. And Hephaestus is always willing to grant powers.
The shop's name is Miss Talath's Marvelous Magics.
That's very inventive. Mr. Laugh, marvelous magic.
Miss Talath, yeah, it's her name, her last name. Daenerys Miss Talath.
Okay, so we're gonna go Abalaba first.
All right, so you're going to go to Abalaba Humplebumples.
Yes.
All right, fantastic. So easy enough to get there. Thea, you are led through the streets of the kind of the noble quarter. You've been here a handful of times, mostly on the under the purview of the Grand Temple, and various clerical jobs for Bahamut.
Clerical.
The sheer number of venereal problems nobles tend to have is kind of shocking. So curing diseases is a regular part of the job. They're not safe most of the time.
You've definitely met my brother.
Could I have also been through here as an urchin in my younger years, or did I stay outside of this part of town?
This is definitely the wealthier part, so any exploration you would have done here would have been very dangerous. So it's up to you. You know Kornsberg fairly well, so it stands to reason you've been almost everywhere in the city.
You're good to make noise.
Or at least you've been most places, yeah. Yeah. This is probably one of the least familiar to you. It both has the least number of guards next to the Rookery, which is like the slum district in the north. But there's also not a whole lot here other than the estates of the noble houses. They don't tend to be easy to like break into or pick up scraps from or anything. But yeah, it stands to reason you've been here before as an urchin. Yeah, quite different from this perspective now.
I'll say I may be a little uncomfortable, but I keep forgetting that I'm no longer an urchin.
Fair enough. Old habits. Eventually, the three of you do make it to the to the upper market, where the fanciest, most frivolous stores are, and you do eventually make your way over to Banco Gritti, the luxury jeweler. And there, behind behind the counter, with the myriad displays of fine jewelry, earrings, necklaces, rings, bracelets, brooches, tiaras, circlets, anything that you can imagine adorning a person's self with, is all there in glorious display, um, kind of reinforced, walls and windows and doors, clearly keeping things protected. You can see like etchings of uh, probably warding magic on various entry and exit points. You can see kind of painted images of very regal, noble-looking people who seem to be wearing some of the jewelry in their, in their pictures. It's definitely a
Afternoon, ma'am.
well. I wasn't expecting you back.
You made an impression. You really did.
Welcome, Lady Indric. How are you?
Doing all right. Do you carry gem-encrusted chalices or bowls?
I think we have a fair few. First, tell me, who are your friends?
This is Thurgle,
I do remember you, Thurgle.
and this is a cleric of Mahatma. She goes by Thea.
Lovely to meet you, Thea. If either of you
Lovely to meet
need,
you.
if either of you need anything, kind of looks both of you up and down, uh, sizing you up, kind of eye. Let me know. Gem encrusted jewels or gem encrusted bowls.
Mm-hmm.
How big? What kind? Do you need them on commission or do you need them pre-made?
I'll take a pre-made. That's absolutely fine. We'll need about 1,000 gold worth of one.
Ah, I think I have just the thing for you.
I have a feeling you might get this request often.
Not as often as you'd think, but occasionally so. Kind of goes around the back. You hear the jangling of like keys, sliding of locks and bands. She pulls out a chest from somewhere and opens it up, and you can see a variety of jewel encrusted, essentially crockery. You got goblets, plates, bowls, all kinds of things.
Cast iron, for good measure.
No, she only deals in precious metals. Well, take your pick, whatever suits your fancy.
Are there any of them that look kind of like blue and frost themed?
Sure.
That one.
All right. Well, we'll set that one aside for you. Do you need anything else?
Yes. Do you have any jewelry that utilizes copper wire? Like earrings and rings?
Or just maybe copper wire in bulk.
Any copper wire involved.
She kind of looks at both of you. Just this flat expression of her I'm putting on my I'm nice right now because we had a decent enough exchange last time, is gone, and you can see that little bit of
The attitude's
the little
coming.
bit of attitude is coming back. You did not ask me if we have copper.
You know what? I didn't. It's all right.
That's right. That's right. You didn't.
Yeah. Nope, I didn't. I'm just here for the chalice. That'll be it. It's all I need right now from you.
Hmm.
What about the copper that we did not mention? any specifics, maybe a hodgepodge of gems that you have loose that you might not be able to use in any jewelry?
We might be able to spare some cuttings.
Actually, do you have any diamonds? Like loose diamonds?
She kind of looks in that more relaxed air comes back. Plenty of those.
Thea, we may need to pick some up for you. And Uther and Thurgle. Should any of us fall in battle, I believe you do need a diamond of considerable value.
At least worth 100 gold pieces.
3, I believe. Can you verify? Unless you have some arrangement with your god I am unaware of.
I have no arrangement. I already have a few diamonds, but more is better.
I agree with Thurgle. Let us just get as many as we can and we'll figure it out later.
You heard the clerics. We'd love to see your diamonds.
Oh, I heard the clerics.
And maybe some pearls as well.
Pearls as well. To see her take a step off of what you realize she's been on a step stool the entire time. Takes a step off, her head barely kind of cresting the top of the counter as she disappears behind a door. She is a gnome, so she's very small. She kind of disappears behind a door for a moment, comes back with a very large kind of chest of things, opens it kind of in her direction, obscuring the insides a little bit. How many do you need, and how big? Come on, how many do you need, and how big?
Pearls right now.
What was that?
Which type of gem are we referencing right now?
Diamonds.
You had diamonds and pearls that you wanted, so either or.
The clear ones are diamonds, Thurgle. I'll handle the transaction for this chalice.
We'll settle it all at once.
How many pearls do you have?
Enough.
Enough.
How many do you need, and how big?
Just a standard smile. Excuse me, I am choking on my own tiredness right now. At least enough that it would fit in the palm of your hand.
So 5?
Thereabouts, 5.
I can do 5. What value do you need them at?
At least at the 100 gold pieces.
100 gold pieces. See her pull out this little kit of like tweezers and like little scoopers and lifters and things, and she pulls out a couple of sections of this chest, and she starts pulling out into it. You realize that there are these like velvety bowls, like velvet lined bowls that she starts putting them into, and she puts them down, and you see 5 roughly identical pearls are there. 5 pearls.
Thank you.
As for the diamonds?
Thea, how much would you like to spend on diamonds?
Lady Indrik, I require your help on this. I've never actually spent anything on diamonds before. They've either been given to me or, if I'm honest, I used to just take them. But that was a long time ago.
You heard nothing, dear shopkeep. How many would you like, Thea?
I think 3 or 5 would suffice.
Great. Add on an additional 500 gold worth of diamonds, please.
So you want 1 500 gold diamond or 5 100 gold diamonds?
Yes.
5 100 gold diamonds.
Very well. She starts picking out.
What does that bring our total to?
All the chalice, pearls, diamonds. 2,400.
Abba lava, we go back?
Not that far.
Can I make a persuasion check?
How much? You trying to reduce the price?
I would like to reduce the price, yes.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
That is a 19.
19?
Oh, I'm sorry, that's a 20. Dirty 20.
30, 20? 1,200.
We went from 24 to 12.
I'm sorry, 22. GM error. My bad.
Yeah, I was like, that's a huge drop.
GM error. My bad.
She likes you.
22.
Oh my goodness.
I know, I was
Is that some charm in there?
Right.
Got myself on that one. Okay. All right. Sounds like we have a deal.
Very well. He grabs a couple of small baggies, puts everything in them, sets them aside, closes everything off. Okay.
Just for clarification, did this also include the other random gems requested?
Yeah, total price. Unit price.
Sure.
So that's 1,000 from Uther, which brings us down to 1,200 at this point. Thurgle, how much do you want to put in?
1,200?
You want to take it all?
Yes.
All right. So be it.
Well, all right then. She hands over the 2 pouches, or the 3 pouches of, your goods.
Bag of holding with the gem encrusted bowl, like immediately. Give Thea the diamonds and Thurgle the pearls.
And gems.
Always a pleasure doing business with you, and if you do come back, you must tell me all about who made that circlet of yours.
It is fascinating, isn't it? Watch this, and I'm going to light it on fire.
Well, that is quite impressive.
Believe it or not, it came from a dive in an Ingrivar Dynasty ruin.
Ah. See this kind of look of disappointment. Oh, that's too bad.
I too wish I could have met the crafter. Truly a fascinating piece.
Who knows? Maybe burning circlets will be a trend one day.
If they
Thank
are,
you as
it's also
always.
Always a pleasure.
I leave with a fake smile.
You leave with a fake smile received and given.
Indeed. All right, so that's one off the checklist.
Okay.
Do you want a meanwhile to them, or are we doing all of Albanor in
I'm
one
gonna
push?
meanwhile for them. So, Liv, Thurgle, Liv, Uther, and Selima. What are you guys doing? Is you just kind of hanging out?
Uther, explain again how we got brought into this. One more time. One more.
Why do I feel like you're trying to blame me?
Well, who else do we have to blame, the big mug? Jesus.
To be fair, I am.
Oh.
But also at the same time, I'm just curious how the conversation went back and forth that led to us agreeing to go spelunking in the capital.
It went like most of my interactions go. It was, hey, here's this awesome thing I did. Give me my money. Oh, you did this awesome thing? Yes, I, Uther, did this awesome thing. And then the guy said, I want you to do another awesome thing. And I said, okay, that sounds great. And then he said, oh, by the way, you don't have a choice. And it's pretty much the be all and end all of the conversation.
Uther, how often do you interact with aristocratic, nobility, political type parties? How often do you do this kind of thing? Because it seems to me you're a wee bit inexperienced, my dear.
I can't lie. I judge my company based on the quality of their humor and the strength of their arm. the depth of their pockets or the reach of their connections politically is infrequently something I focus on, which is my long-winded way of saying I don't hang out with fancy people that frequently.
And we can't leave the city unless we basically agree. Or have we already agreed? I missed
That's
that.
what they said, but I would like to see them try and stop us from leaving, quite frankly. I think we have options here. My opinion, yes, he blackmailed us, but also he paid us 500 gold apiece for a promise he didn't make. I really don't know how bad this guy is. He's got a problem. Is he a little manipulative? Sure, but who's not a little manipulative when the time comes?
I've got a solid question for you though, Uther. So this man supposedly has blackmailed us, but I have two questions revolving around that. Number one, does this person actually know any of our real names? And number two, does he know where we're from? Because if he doesn't have those two things, this blackmail's not going to go very far, is it?
I could not agree with you more. He knows my name, and he's welcome.
You have a real name?
I'm an honest person, Liv. I don't like lying. It feels wrong. It feels like cowardice.
Ah, fuck. It's like standing next to a giant Thurgle. The two of you and your damn morals.
I'm not condoning the fact of lying about who we are per se. I'm also not saying we shouldn't. But given the, how will I put this tactfully? I don't have tact. Given the precious individuals and cargo that we hold, Liv holding the box to begin with, I will commend you on the way you handled yourself. Commend you more for the mold-ridden location that I've been checking. No one seems to follow us because apparently, fuck, who would? But again, he doesn't know all of us. He only knows that there's a party outside the walls, but you aren't allowed to leave to tell your party outside the walls. So does he assume we're sending Stone one message apiece and hoping to get the whole story together and say yes?
I agree with you. The man may be an idiot. I really don't know. I don't know what his expectations were. I think he meant to be scary, and quite frankly, did an okay job. I'd give him a 6 on a 10. But yeah, no, I was hesitant. I know Lady Indrik and her people are not well liked in these parts, and so I sort of didn't share much about who we are. I agree. I think he knows so little we could easily take off and never come back to this place. Although, independent of his gambit, of his attempt at intimidating me and my friends into helping him with this problem, doesn't it feel to you like perhaps there's something bigger going on here that we do need to look into? Regardless of who else it may help, it feels like the stakes here are quite large. I have a suspicion that this 10-eyed demigod, whatever he is a problem on a scale much bigger than a single kingdom. And if what's going on in the capital of this nation is connected, we find ourselves to be noble adventurers seeking to right wrongs and fight evil, shouldn't we do this?
Again with the fucking morals. I swear to Christ. Ay, ay, ay.
I've built my whole livelihood on helping others, so I completely understand that. I tend to avoid the affairs of other gods that I don't know of. I left that business to my mother back in those days when I was growing up as a child. I had no business. And now,
I can't say I resonate with that emotion. I quite frankly, I like finding other people's deities and the deities of all nations and correcting them how wrong they are that their god is worth a damn. I in the name of Tierlin, I enjoy smiting many gods champions wherever I may find them. So I can't say I agree with you there.
Question
Fine.
to DM. Knowing where I'm from, I know it's highly unlikely that I've run across people from this area before, but how likely is it that they would recognize and understand where I'm from? Like, I'm trying to gauge how much I should let myself be visible in this city.
Roll a history check for me.
Sir.
And I'm sure, I mean, you and Thea had an argument between whose god was the greater god forever. But I, as my own profession, tend to look at it as if you avoid to meddle in the affairs of other gods, you don't anger other gods, and then you live longer.
I feel like you have very interesting stories that I want you to elaborate on.
Over a cup of tea. And a comfy mossy rock, yes, sure.
Does it have to be tea?
I prefer tea.
Bang!
Do I have to drink tea?
You don't necessarily have to drink tea. I mean, you have your charmed flask or flagon of your tasty snack, I'm sure. But
It is, yes.
I prefer a cup of tea. I prefer to taste the plants and the earth while I'm drinking, so there's a preference.
Don't worry, Uther. I'll drink some ale with you if that's what you're looking for.
Liv, we may disagree on many things, but I feel like we have this in common.
Bring me beer, cheese, bread, and some other weird thing from your country, and we'll be set. By the way, I rolled a 16 for that history check.
16. From what you can recall with your upbringing growing up, and knowing the kind of international relations between A10 and anywhere else, fairly few people from your home go anywhere.
Right.
Kind of even fewer people visit. The idea of you being identified is probably low. I mean, you do have a distinctive accent, which causes people to stare and listen and pay attention. It's a little unusual in most parts of the world. As far as how this particular empire regards your people, you have no.
So based on what I know, there's nothing that's going to make me be like, oh, they know that I'm also, high aristocracy and high-priced person.
As far as you
as
can
far
assume,
as I know, there's no way that they would know that.
no. I mean, just to know it, no. As far as you can assume, yeah, they would just divine it unless they had someone who could do things like that. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Oh, all right. Well, right now they're buying components for all of us. Did he give us anything else as to what to expect? Is he sending someone with us to make sure we go? Was anything else implied?
Simply by virtue of the fact that this xenophobic, isolationist nation, upon first opportunity to ask foreigners for help, leapt at the opportunity and was so desirous of our aid that he would threaten us into aiding them. This sounds dire. It sounds serious. All he said was they were digging under the city, under the capital, came upon some ruins, opened said ruins, and then everybody started having bad dreams, going crazy, and killing each other.
Well, I, for one, do have a little bit of an issue with ruins, considering the last time I stepped into some, I ended up on a different plane of existence for several months. So I'm just throwing it out there that we should be extremely cautious, because I don't feel like being in the water plane again. That does not sound fun for me.
Liv, I would humbly point out there is one great difference between that last encounter you had with
I
Ruins.
want to say that if we get one here, I'm going to slap you with your own flagon of ale.
Well, fine, I won't say it then. Although that sounds like fun.
I mean, I've had my fair share of portals too, Liv. That's the whole reason I ended up showing up basically smack dab in front of Valerica's group at the time. But, alright, I'm not foreign to Ruins. It's not that big of a problem. But I hate not having anything to go by. No information.
Right? Like, there's no physical being that came out of said ruins. There's no smell. Just, oh, we opened a thing and suddenly everyone has bad dreams, even though we would have had to wait several hours for everyone to fall asleep to even know that that was it. So, correlation, causation, like, what the fuck is even happening here?
Every single legend and every single story that moms tuck their children into at night, I'm finding to tend to be pretty honest and true. Maybe embellished a bit here and there, but I've seen things at this point that I'm not going to question whether they said, we opened it, everyone has nightmares and are killing each other. I'm going to sit there and go, pretty standard at this point. Okay.
You know what? Considering some things that have happened to me based on my childhood that I'm still unraveling, I actually am a little inclined to believe you on that one.
I've heard dreams, fevered dreams from crazed people that went out into the middle of nowhere and came back talking of creatures with tentacles that suck out your brains. Pfft, leave them to their own thing. Obviously, heat stroke, everything else in between. Perfect. Okay, give them some water, let them rest for 3 days. To see it, knowing that legends are not only just that of children's wives' tales and stories, there's a merit and a grain of truth to them. I'm inclined to believe them. I just wish there was more to go on before we walked into it, honestly.
Well, he mentioned that they sent a platoon of soldiers down into the ruins to ascertain what was going on, and none of them returned. So we know it's dangerous. I think we can go in at least knowing it's dangerous. But doesn't the idea of an ancient underground ruin beneath a foreign capital, certainty of danger, low chance of success, does this not invigorate you? Does this not get you? We are adventurers. You could have been a tailor or a seamstress.
Rinse and repeat, friend. Rinse and repeat.
I'm going to motion to my cape with all the engravings and stitching I've done. You're quite right. I could have been. You're quite right.
Exactly my point. But no, you picked up a sword or a bow and you became an adventurer. This is what stories and legends are made of. This is why we do what we do. How is it not more exciting for you that there is intrigue and mystery and potentially evil ancient magic that we have no defense against? How great a story will this make when we return victorious?
Because when we're getting so passionate about this, I'm literally going to pull out my vocal band and I'm going to start like strumming a little tune under what he's saying to make everything he's saying sound much more intense.
Yes.
But then the question then is, Uther, how many have you lost while going into ruins yourself?
To be honest, I tend to go into these situations kind of alone and without asking too many questions. So as far as friends go, I left most of them back in Thoderheim on the peaks. You're kind of the first friends I've made since I left. So we'll find out. We'll find out.
Friends.
Which I'm honored.
Friends.
I will admit I am honored. Don't think that I'm not taking that into consideration as well. I'm not going to leave you to go march into a ruin by yourself. There's never a question of that. The point is, as much enthusiasm as you may carry within yourself, I can't guarantee I carry the exact same amount without the apprehension of the idea that, like many adventures that I've experienced over my years of traveling and solving problems for others, not everyone makes it back out.
I'm literally playing different music underneath each of their dialogue to be like, because it's like super epic and wanting to go on this adventure, and hers is like cautious and like no. So I'm like literally
Like
like
one man banding it.
yeah, one is
Harmonica on this
one
side,
is
guitar on
on
this side.
handpipes, and I'm going back and forth.
I love it.
First of all, Liv, you're never allowed to leave my side ever because the background music is amazing. Second of all, Salima, did you just imply that we're friends and that you would not let me go into a dangerous situation alone? Is that what I got out of our conversation?
Yes, that is what you have received.
Yes. Yes. I appreciate you as well.
I'm not going to admit that I'm thinking of the space I'm going to require on this cape. But I will not allow anyone, as I see friends, to go in it alone. Just as much as I understand Valerica would not do the same either, which is why she's on a shopping spree at that point, looking and trying to secure these things that we will desperately, desperately, desperately need.
Speaking of which, would either of you be opposed if I did a little bit of reconnaissance around this city? I was thinking about using a little disguised self, kind of blend myself in with the locals. Maybe keep quiet, but just kind of walk around and see what kind of information I can pick up walking around city stalls and shops and things like that.
Are you rested enough?
Oh, I'm pretty sure I'm fully rested. I haven't done anything. Yeah, no, I'm good. We're good.
Yes, I can't say it would hurt to find out more about the representatives from the capital. I can't imagine the poor people that live here on a regular basis have anything useful to tell us. But do be careful. It doesn't
say that, but never underestimate the little folk.
That's fair. Being such a large fellow, I frequently underestimate little folk. So I agree. Perhaps you're right.
I'm not opposed to it, other than the fact that there are the soldiers wandering about, and I haven't even gotten the opportunity to see much of the grounds out there.
Well, you're more than welcome to come with me. I mean, Uther, they already know that you're here, so it wouldn't be odd for you to be walking around with me. Maybe we can make it look like I'm trying to show you around the city.
I can also say I don't look like Thea. So to be walking around with a new female be quite interesting. How populated were the streets at this point? Because you're the only one that walked to the location. How populated are they?
Was that directed at someone?
Yeah, I was directed at Uther.
What was your question?
Hi, you were the only one that came here from the outside. How populated were the streets? How obvious is it going to be that your party has changed in the middle of the town?
Yeah, desolate, quite barren. Most of the locals seem to be quite afraid of these representatives of the empire. I can't say as I blame them, as they were quite frankly killing the mayor. So I think many of them are sheltering in place. I didn't see many walking the streets.
All right, then. I mean, we can do some sort of reconnaissance, but I don't think there's anything we're going to really gain out of this area that we already don't know. And it's not like we're going to be able to get supplies, and even if we did, I wouldn't want them from here.
No, but worse that we could find out is maybe what some of them have been dreaming. Maybe it would give us a clue as to what we might be facing.
But they're not having nightmares here. Did they say they're having nightmares here?
No, it was purely in the capital. It seems to be located strictly around the capital from what he said.
Ah, well, all right then.
I was going to say, did the emissary imply himself as well? Because I'm not sure if he came from the capital or not.
You know, it's funny. He seemed to suggest it was scattered. He made no specific reference to the stupider people going crazy or the wealthier people. He just said people. But it obviously has to be seeing as this clearly is a kingdom where there is a separation of classes, it had to be people that mattered here. So I'm guessing if all of the hobos were killing each other, they wouldn't really care.
More underestimation of the little people, as per usual. Okay, that being said then, Uther, do you think that I could task you in going out to maybe pick up whatever you think might be the oddest thing to eat here? I just want to try the local cuisine. It's about time I tasted something they sell here. Especially since they don't have any meat. I want to know what they fucking plan to have for dinner.
Agreed. How is anyone alive here? I didn't exactly see some large farms out in the distance where they were growing corn. What else do they live on?
Well, they did have farms out there, but whatever they were growing has been left to rot. Because everyone apparently transformed. Because when we went to the first farmhouse, you could see the fields, but everything there was dead and gone to rot.
Well, I don't know how much Lady Valerica has told you about me, but one of the staples of my life is that I like my meat and my cheese and my weird shite. So whatever you can find me, obviously it's not going to be meat and cheese because they don't have any fucking animals around here. So I'm left with option number 3. So
the more we talk, the more we have in common. Liv, it would be my pleasure to go out and try and find the least despicable thing to eat.
well, it's okay if it's despicable. I'd still try it anyway.
Excellent.
I once ate a canneloff tongue.
I beg your pardon?
We killed a canneloff back in Corensburg, and we cut out its tongue, and I had Lady Valerica's staff cook it up for us. It was pretty disgusting, but it was fun.
At least it was cooked.
Was there some sort of a wager involved that you lost?
Not, it seemed like something fun to try.
Okay then.
Let's try to find something that won't damage her constitution and her.
I was going to say I feel like no matter what I find, I can't hit that rock bottom. So I'm optimistic now. Thank you. You've made me feel better about my quest.
You're welcome.
You could find
And so Uther heads out the door and goes to find grub.
As he's going to leave, I'm literally going to sing him a song about finding food as bardic inspiration, so whenever he goes on this search, he has a better opportunity to find something yummy for us to eat. I think you might be muted, Cunningham.
Are you going then?
I'm going to stay here
You gonna
to
stay?
secure the validity of the residence, and I'm not.
Stay put to keep the whole house safe, since that's technically my job with my teleportation skills. I'm going to be responsible, okay?
Okay, so
And
just
I
Uther's going out.
He's
Okay.
the only one they've seen. It makes the most sense.
Okay, sounds good. Uther, you open the door, step out. It is cold and unpleasant outside. Kind of heady, muggy air, especially right next to the lake. It is quite unpleasant. But you have free reign of the dead streets. Would you like to try and find something or someone?
I guess I'm going to sort of look around
Okay.
for what would look like the center of town.
Okay. Go ahead and make, just for fun, let's go ahead and make a perception check.
Just
15?
15? Okay. It takes you a little while, but you do find what seems to be the town center, not too far from the town hall where you had originally met the mayor and where he had been killed. It is a collection of kind of stalls, like market stalls, these kind of large, heavy, like tarps covering them to block off, any rainfall or anything. They appear to be empty currently. In the middle of this kind of courtyard is this very large statue of this very imperious looking human individual, looking all, I'm important, kind of standing in the in the middle of the square, looking around. The only people that you've seen thus far have been soldiers from the capital, have been Imperial soldiers. You're not seeing any other people.
Is there anyone close by that I could shout at?
You do see a pair of soldiers kind of standing guard at kind of like one street, just kind of hanging out. Who they seem to be keeping an eye on you as you wander around.
So I'm going to awkwardly look immediately back at them and say, excuse me, where do you guys eat?
One of them, they kind of look at each other, exchanging glances. We bring our own food.
That's not helpful at all. Is there anywhere here that has food?
Everywhere's closed.
Why?
They again kind of exchange glances. There's still a plague.
No, I fixed that. It's over. The plague is done. You can tell everyone. It's finished. Uther fixed the plague.
We'll wait until the emissary says otherwise. You've been
Chain of
permitted to
command,
walk
right?
around. Don't cause trouble.
Well, I'm not going to lie. The more time goes by that I don't find somewhere to eat, the likelihood I will cause trouble tends to go up. So where are you keeping your food?
He's hangry.
How far away are you from them? Like, are you trying to are you up in their face, or are they?
No.
You're just
I feel
yelling
like
across the courtyard.
Yeah. I feel like they're not like 100 feet away. They're like 18 feet away. I probably don't need to shout, but I'm doing it anyway, just for
Okay,
effect.
fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, no, they're okay. Fair enough. So you're about 20 or so feet. That's fine. One of them kind of reaches into into like a side pack that they have and pulls out this like little package of something. Yeah. He kind of tosses it at you. Not hard. He's trying to get it to you. And then he says, "Try that if you think it'll keep you quiet."
What did he throw me?
I think you're muted.
Oh,
Or
no.
no?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm good. It was my audio.
what did he throw me?
You see this? It's kind of this. It's wrapped in like a linen kind of materials, kind of twined up. You open it up and it's these really dense looking like biscuits. Like, you ever had hardtack?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hardtack. It's just these dense, dry, at the same time chewy looking, like weird biscuit things. You're looking at them, they don't look normal. Like, they look like biscuits, but they're weird. They're like gritty and grainy and unpleasant looking.
I'm gonna just kind of hold them in my hand and look back at him and go, "Your food makes me sad. No wonder you are all so small. This can't be good for you. You've nothing other than this?"
You want good food? Go to lake. Pick up one of the cattails.
That's a fish?
No, it's a plant. There are no animals here.
Oh, right. I forgot. Oof. And I'm gonna go through my bag and throw him a copper or a couple coppers. Throw him 3 coppers.
Gonna tries to catch him, drops one of them, picks it up, kind of nods, pockets them.
I sense this was a kind gesture in spite of its appearance. So thank you. I appreciate your generosity.
Kind of nods and waves his hand, like, move along.
I'm gonna walk around. There's no way Uther's going to a lake with his recent encounters with seaweed people, with snake ladies in water. So that's just
I don't
not
know what
gonna
you're
happen.
talking about.
Yeah. Uther's just not. He's not going anywhere near a lake in this town. God, I guess. Really, I'm not gonna. I feel like this would meet Liv's morbid curiosity with cuisine. So I guess I'm gonna head back to the bar
Okay.
or the
All right.
inn that we've confiscated.
Yeah, apparently. All right. You make it back without
Oh,
any problems whatsoever. And you guys see Uther walk in, looking like he does.
Liv, I appear to have found a sawdust cake for you. Enjoy.
Oh, what?
It's the most disgusting looking piece of bread I have ever seen. I don't know what's in it, but apparently it won't kill you. So here you go.
That
I
is yet to
literally take the biggest possible bite.
Oh, ouch. Okay.
That's good.
That's gonna
Make a
hurt.
Constitution saving throw.
So you bite hard. It is hard and dense and gritty. Like
Is
they
it
did
like
not.
biting into a biscotti? Like that kind of hard? Where you can't really get through it?
Yeah, but like with almost no
sorry.
element of like even
Really
that
wanna
has some
stop.
element of softness to it. So this and the weirdest part about this one is that it's like they didn't mill whatever the grain that they had properly, so it's just grit and grit. It's like chewing sand and rocks. It eventually, as the saliva in your mouth kind of moistens it softens a little bit, but you're like instant dry mouth.
Liv,
It's like a saltine coated in sand. Think about that.
Liv, is that as bad? You're dying. She's dying. Bang.
It looks like she's enjoyed it immensely. Told you guys, don't eat anything from here. Eat from the mansion.
Holy shit.
That tasted as bad as it looked, didn't it?
Just about. I wouldn't even ask our cooks to turn that into croutons for a salad. That was terrible. Oh,
Magnificent. Wow. Your bravery is proven for the day. You can take a break.
It did have a distinctive. I mean, for what minor flavor it had, it was unusual. It was not a typical grain.
all right.
Dude, in our parallel storylines, we're sitting there eating cake right now.
Actually, yeah, right now would be right around the time you guys are all snacking on little petit fours.
My plan is to spend the rest of our afternoon apart crafting my next song that's going to incorporate all this new story of us, killing a hag and then the mayor being assassinated and us acquiring a child and sending it off to learn magic. It's my new performance piece. So I'm going to be writing and playing that the whole time, and Salima and Uther will get to hear snippets of it as I go along, so they have like an idea of where this song is going, but I won't finish it today.
Okay, sounds good. So you spend your time kind of crafting your song. Salima and Uther, do you have any goals in mind for the next couple hours? You're just kind of hanging out.
I'm going to be on high alert, checking the windows and the doors in case the emissary decides to figure out where we are.
Sure.
Because I'm still unattuned.
Sure. Fair enough.
So, worst comes to worst, I have the capability of ducking into something, but
Right.
I want to be sure.
Okay. What about you, Uther?
Salima, Liv's recent experience with the sawdust patty has made me quite hungry for actual food. Can I bring you some out? You can't get into the house right now, right?
Right. If there's more snake jerky or something of that nature, that's fine with me. Something that's going to last for a while. But otherwise, maybe if there's a cup of tea or something hot to drink, because it's going to get cold tonight. You're going to love it.
One of these days, we're going to have a conversation about this fascination you have with tea. But yeah, snake jerky. Of all the things in that house, you want snake jerky.
No, I can eat anything. It's just kind of insult to injury that I can eat snake and jerky from the lands that don't allow snakes or jerky.
I see. Okay, I'll be right back. So I'll jump into the house and
Okay, fair enough.
grab.
Easy
I'm
enough
gonna
to bring
grab
food out.
cured meats and some bread, and yes, a pot of tea.
Okay,
I'll bring those things out to her.
sounds good. Sounds good. All right. So while you're keeping watch, go ahead and make another perception check for me. As you keep watch. Sure you're
13.
13. Take a few moments to kind of look out and you check in every 5, 10, 15 minutes. Look out the windows and you see any major movement. You see what you think, like, as you look out, you can kind of see the lake. You see what you think might be like a boat kind of crossing. Two figures in it, just kind of like rowing past, like far into the lake. They disappear into a fog bank pretty quickly. But other than that, you don't see a whole lot that stands out.
Tea.
Okay. All right. So, shopping people.
To Daenerys.
Daenerys, all right. So, to Mr. Lat's Marvelous Magics.
This is not Game of Thrones.
Disclaimer.
Okay, so you make
As
your
we're
way back
going-
to the trade district very easily. The market square is there in all of its glory.
Thea, just so you have context, Daenerys is our favorite vendor in Cornsburg, right, Thurgle? Like,
yeah, she was
she's our magic vendor. She gives us all of the magic supplies we could ever need, and she'll hunt down the ones that she doesn't have. She was the one that brought me the staff.
Oh, well, I
Yes,
like her.
yes.
Is that where we're
she's
going right
great.
now?
It is.
Fantastic.
So, if there's any magical items that you have had your eye on, now maybe is the time to pick it up.
Well, I would definitely look around. If this is a shop,
Yes.
great. I will definitely look around.
All right, so you make your way through the trade center, and you find kind of a large building that's essentially squished up against all the other buildings. A lot of like that kind of track construction in row house style. You open the door. It's a lovely kind of embellished, very clean looking door. Everywhere else is a little more mid-range, kind of more rustic. You say you're used to seeing this area. You've been here. Like, you right across the square is the Grand Temple. Like, you're not far from where you live. Or have lived for many. So this is a comfortable square for you to be in. And you have in fact passed by this shop a fair few times. But since most things are provided to you, haven't had to win. You all walk in, you can see shelves lining the walls, display cases and cabinets. You can see a countertop that is etched and engraved with a myriad runes and sigils and arcane script. You can see fine filigree and embellishments everywhere. It looks quite lovely. And behind the counter, you see the familiar, full, bright, dark-haired Daenerys Mistel, who seems to be enjoying
Daenerys!
it. Atletica, how are you?
I'm well enough. It's been a while.
Has been a while indeed. Ah, Master Thurgle. Good to see you.
And this is Thea.
There. Well met.
Thank you.
So, been some time.
Yes.
What can I
And
do for you?
I have a bit of a laundry list this time.
I don't doubt that.
First off, Liv sends her regards, and I'm
Ah,
gonna toss the dust of dryness over.
she catches it deftly without any. Kind of opens it. Very interesting. Well, I'm glad she has not forgotten our deal. I thought after all these months.
She's been trapped in a portal dimension. I mean, I wouldn't hold it against her.
We
She
were
only
just
recently got back to this
thinking.
place.
Well, I'm glad she's okay then.
Yes, me too. So,
What
I
is
have a
your
list.
laundry list?
I have a list of components. Can you tell me if you have any of these in stock? We're looking for tiny tarts, bard magic. Any feathers that you have, and then specifically an owl feather. Any pearls that you have on hand, any lead-based ink. I need a mistletoe, a spruce sprig, a snake tongue, either honeycomb or sweet oil, chalk, and assorted gems.
Do any of these have specific? This is GM question. Are any of these specific valued items, or are they just?
Liv, jump in here. This is your laundry list.
This one picked up pearls for me over at Avalaba, so I
I
don't
was-
need pearls anymore.
We're good on pearls.
Mhm.
And the assorted gems were also for her? Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so everything else there. The only thing is the ink, I think, needs a specific value. Let me pull it up again real quick. But everything else, it's not a specific value amount.
And then any health potions you have in stock.
Right. She kind of nods and thinks for a moment, and then snaps her fingers, and a kind of a bag, similar to a bag of holding. They're not as like fine and like enchanted with magic. You can see it's got like a lot of different like pouches and components to it, or compartments rather to it. She hands it over. It should cover your component needs as far as general items go. Component
Perfect. And
pouch.
how much would that run us?
A component pouch? Yeah. I always forget how much they are.
10 gold pieces for the ink value.
10? Okay. The component pouch will be 50.
Okay.
Yeah, and that'll contain basically anything that doesn't have a value in it.
Perfect. And then
And ink.
I'm always curious as to what you have in stock.
Of course you are. Ben, take a look around, see what you can find. And you want a potion? She pulls out a big old crate of a variety of potions. Looks like she's got a fair number of standard healing potions and a couple of greater, one superior, and one supreme.
How much would the lot of it cost me?
The lot?
Yeah.
Good God.
We rolling deep.
Yeah, apparently. All right, let's take a look.
Ready for a giant price tag, everybody?
Yeah, this is gonna be wild. Okay, so
Math.
yep, all the math. All right, so the potions of healing are gonna be 75 gold apiece.
75. The basic ones?
Yep.
Inflation.
Yep, it happens. The potion of greater healing will be 200 apiece. The superior healing will be 600 apiece, and the supreme healing will be 1600 apiece.
And how many does she have? How many graders does she have?
How many graders? She's got 4.
Okay. So we'll take all the graders.
So 800.
And how many small?
10.
So that would be 750.
Mhm.
Yeah. Let's clear out all that.
Okay, sounds good. That'll be 1550 base price for the potions.
Okay.
So
Anything else? Oh, Thurgle, go ahead.
would you be willing to offer at least some form of discount for us assisting you with that little issue a while back?
I'll take it into consideration.
That is fair. I appreciate your business work.
And there you are. So, as far as other objects that she has,
Yeah, like what does she have?
she's got a bunch of scrolls available. She
Speaking of Daenerys,
is.
did that payment come through?
Yes, payment.
Yes,
It did. I assume you would like it?
I would.
Excellent. We'll factor that into the cost at the end. You rack up a bill, why bother exchanging?
Fine.
Alright. So she has a handful of scrolls. Do you want to know any of those?
Sure.
Okay. She's got a scroll of mage armor, minor illusion, ice knife.
Pass. I'll pass on any ones.
On any what?
Level like 1 or 2s.
Okay.
Anything higher or interesting?
Yeah, she's got second level flaming sphere.
Okay.
She's got a scroll of guardian of faith.
Yeah, I can do that.
And then she has a scroll of creation.
What is that?
Creation? It is let's see. You're a sorcerer and a wizard. You would know. Essentially you create a non-living object of vegetable matter. And it'll last a certain amount of time. You basically just temporarily summon an object in.
Oh, okay.
For
I'm
a
good.
set amount of time.
I am alright. Any armor, weapons?
Yes. She does have a couple of those. She has...
Or anything that we can get for the house that would be interesting? We did complete the mansion, so if you have any recommendations for that, that would be lovely.
Fair enough. She has a ring of swimming, which increases swim speed to 40 feet.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like she has adamantine scale mail.
Would that help anyone? Would Uther want that, Thea?
He tends to stick to things that are used with lightning and thunder, as per his god. Does this do any of those?
I don't know. I don't think so.
So properties of adamantine scale mail. It is 14 plus your dex modifier. To a maximum of 2 and disadvantage on stealth. It's a medium armor. But it makes all crits regular hits.
All crits against you are regular hits.
Yeah.
Do you think this would be something that Uther would be interested in?
I'm going to have to say yes.
How much for the adamantine armor?
How much for the adamantine? 1,000.
Okay. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. We'll put it in our maybe pile.
In your maybe pile? Okay. She also has a helm of telepathy.
Tell me more.
Okay. While wearing the helm, you can use your action to cast the Detect Thoughts spell with a set DC. As long as you maintain concentration, you can use a bonus action to send telepathic messages to a creature you're focused on. And it can reply using a bonus action. While focusing on a creature using Detect Thoughts, you can use your action to cast Suggestion.
Have you ever wanted to control
dawn.
someone's mind?
Well, I did think about the fact that we have Liv in the group and we have you. However, there has been a moment or two where I feel like I could have used something like that.
Is it something that interests you?
Very much so.
Okay. How much for that one?
That one is 15,000.
15,000. Okay. Put it in the maybe pile.
Okay. All she has right now.
Okay. Circle, is there anything you want?
Nothing in particular, but something that I might be able to haggle with for possible price differentiation.
Mm-hmm.
I do happen to possess 2 potion of water breathing. Would that be able to possibly bring the price down if I were to trade that?
Sure. Bring the price down.
With my cloak of the Mantare, as I flip my hood up, I don't necessarily need it.
No, I don't imagine it would.
Also, not necessarily a magic thing, but I have this golden urn I've just been carrying around.
Why? Just have a
I
golden
wish
urn.
I knew. Selima, do you remember?
Cool, she's not there.
Woo, 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 Roman. Woo.
I don't.
That was more confusing.
When we did that mission with Roman.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that one shot. Okay.
the random
Okay.
gold urn. Okay. Yeah, your potions of water breathing will bring it down a little bit. Yeah, by at least a couple hundred gold.
So, when I asked about the cost of this golden urn, you said probably worth a few hundred gold.
She's
So I'm
not
going
going to
to
take
also...
it. She deals with magic items, not mundane items.
Okay, fine.
You know this.
That would be great for Abalaba.
Hubble,
Would have been great for Abalaba.
hubble,
Okay. So, what are we looking at?
What are you getting?
The healing potions
Yep.
that we selected,
So 1550 for the healing potions.
and the helm. Thea, if you're not in love with and drooling over that helm, let's leave it for now, because 15,000 is a pretty steep price.
I'm okay with that, given the group that we have with us.
But let's get that armor for Uther.
I absolutely agree with that.
Okay, so you want the
Adamantine
scale
and
amount?
healing.
Okay.
Any wondrous items that are fun? Or anything that she recommends for our house?
Any fun wondrous items? Let's double check and make sure there's.
Do we want another cleaning stone, people?
I know someone that could use one at this moment. Has anyone seen Thurgle? I'm just
Oh.
saying. Ever since we left him alone and returned, it has appeared he has gotten a dust shower of some kind.
That's just Thurgle energy. He just attracts dust.
Oh, well, in that case, keep doing you, Thurgle.
And
Two
I
of you.
will.
It's funny.
Just see Thurgle go, like, what the fuck is wrong? I see nothing.
No.
Not like you totally, made out
Thurgle.
with chickens or anything.
Thurgle, there's a stone at the door. Go use it.
All right.
All right, let's see what mundane
It
items.
feels so weird.
Every time, it will feel very weird.
Funny.
That's what she said?
No, she doesn't really have any wondrous, like, boring items on her
Fair
right
enough.
now.
All right.
Make a
So what is
perception
our-
check real quick.
Sure. Perception, and I don't have Sparks because he's playing with a child. Great. 14.
Her shop's looking a little bare.
You been cleaned out recently?
Well, yes, I'm trying to close out as much of my stock as I can.
Why is that?
I was thinking I might travel a bit.
But Tanira,
Yes.
we always come to you.
And you will still, I'm assuming it's you. You'll have access to me somehow, I'm sure.
Don't
Where
we
are you
still
going?
have
Not
the
yet.
stone?
What was that?
Don't we still have the sending stone connection?
We do still have the sending stone. I just need a break.
Right. Insight check. Do I believe her?
Go ahead and roll an insight check.
That's cocked. Cocked reroll.
Reroll.
Damn it! It was an 18. That's a 4. Damn it.
She seems
Okay.
like she's being honest.
10 total.
Yeah.
10 total.
Seems a little tough to read. It's Daenerys. She's, shrewd and closed off a little bit, but she doesn't seem to be lying to you.
Would you tell us if anything were wrong? I wonder. Out loud. At you. Is anything happening?
Such tact.
Are you asking Daenerys
Yes.
just straight up? Is anything
Yes.
happening?
Literally all of that was said out loud. Because I rolled a 4.
See, she cracks a bit of a smile. No, I need a break from the city.
Are you being hunted?
Oh, goodness. She's
Did
tired.
those bandits come back again?
No, we dealt with those. Thanks to you.
We did. And that assassin cousin of yours?
Don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sure you don't. Just to let us know if you need help again. Please.
I will. We have our stones.
We do. So, what are we looking at for costs? All that being said, can I negotiate you any lower? And how much do you owe me?
You can always negotiate.
I have coupons.
I have coupons.
Coupons.
They're like poorly drawn on like a piece of linen paper. Coupon.
That's funny. Okay, so you want the total of those? Oh, gee. Forgot about that.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Do
forgot.
Any type of instruments or any performing type of tools in this area as well?
Roll a percentile for me.
My brain just farted and was like, what dice do I grab?
It's right there.
It is 95.
95?
Yes.
Of course it is.
It's the only
This is
thing I-
how we got my stuff of power, people. I rolled an 8.
We're not playing Radovast tonight. The
I
unlucky
know.
dice roller character curse is not here.
Seriously. Poor Radovas.
He's best.
She does not, unfortunately.
No? Okay.
Okay.
No instruments.
Tell me about my monies.
Right, okay, so it was 1,500 or 1,550 for the potions. What did I quote you on the scale mail? 750?
1,000.
1,000, that's right. 1,000 for that.
1,000 copper.
1,000 copper.
And that's it. That's all you wanted. Didn't want any of the other potions or anything.
We wanted all of the greater and
Yep.
all of the lesser.
Yep. So that's that's 10 greater and I'm sorry, that's 4 greater and 10 regular. So your total for that is going to be 2,550.
2,550.
Discounts from my potion exchange.
That'll bring it down
You're doing
to 21.
Can I roll with advantage because Thurgle's helping?
How is Thurgle helping?
I am seductively distracting her.
She's totally not even straight, man.
I am too tired to fucking care anyways.
So I said distraction, not a seduction.
Oh, sure.
As you do. Sure.
Okay.
She's
I'm
entertained by you guys.
distracted. Keep going, Thurgle.
Horrendously misaligned. Something went really wrong in the invention process.
Oh god. 19.
19? All right, we'll bring it down to 21.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank
For my
you.
wine nipples.
And I owe you 75,000.
75. Yes.
Minus my fee.
Of course. That is minus your fee.
Was it?
Yes, because we got up to 116.
Oh, right, that is minus your fee. Yeah. So, you want to just take that off the top?
Yeah. So what's the total?
Well, with the items, plus what she owed you from your previous sale of a magic item, which only took, I can math.
Use a calculator.
72, I'm sorry, 72,100.
How much was her fee?
A lot.
Yeah, like a 30% fee?
It was also an estimate, and it sold at an auction. It's always
Yeah.
hard to get.
Wait, no. Okay, yeah. I'm not going to complain about getting handed 72,000 gold.
No, I don't think you would. Do you want it in platinums or in actual gold? Or in promissory notes? Platinum? Alright. She snaps another finger and several bars of platinum come up.
Scoop it into my bag of holding.
How much coinage do you currently have? Because your bag is probably getting to capacity.
My, a lot. I have a lot of money.
Yeah, you do.
Most of my money I usually keep in the house, though.
Okay.
Not on my person.
Fair enough.
Speaking of,
We have plenty
buy a vault.
Don't stress.
You gonna buy a vault?
Buy a vault while we're
Go
here?
talk to a smith or something, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You go by the blacksmith, I can make a fucking vault.
Right. Let's make a vault. I say as we bid Daenerys farewell and head on.
McDuck that shit.
We need to. This is becoming a lot.
Okay, so anything else you're looking for?
I'm gonna put in a research request at the Mages College on this deity and to send any findings to the Kornsberg estate. Or the Indric estate in Kornsberg.
Okay, do you want to go peruse the library yourself at all? And see what you can find?
I do, but I'm also trying to be conscientious of time.
You can probably spend a couple hours just looking around and grab any source books if you'd like.
Yeah, so I spend a couple hours and I'll gather everything that I can. Do you want me to make any rolls?
Yeah, I'll let you choose which you're focusing on, though.
Okay.
Do you want to go Arcana, History, or Religion?
And Thurgle, are either of you guys interested in helping me with the research about the creepy thing that spoke to us? Or Thurgle, do you want to screw off and go to the blacksmith and deal with your stuff?
I'm probably going to go to blacksmith and alchemist because I'm just fucking tired and distracted.
Okay, so Thea, do you want to come help me research?
I will join you.
Perfect. So I'll tackle Arcana. Thea, do you know anything about history? Is history a subject that interests you?
Not really much. I apologize.
Subtle stat check.
I know. What were the other options? Arcana,
History, or Religion.
You know about religion?
Yes. Religion,
Great.
I love it very much. I study it quite often, even in my downtime.
Perfect. So she's gonna go for religion, and I'm gonna go for Arcana.
Okay, perfect. All right, so you're going Religion and Arcana. All right, so it'll be easy to resolve it quickly. Both of you make checks for each of those skills then.
Okay.
You were looking for gunpowder, right? Thurgle,
Yes, and
do you remember what the deal was?
What's that?
Do you remember what your deal with her was? Because
I don't.
my notes are apparently missing from that.
I don't
roll a
have the keen
percentile.
mind as Sabrina, but I do remember that part of the deal was that he had helped her workers learn the way of Hephaestus to be faster workers in exchange for like deals on stuff, but I don't remember exactly what that deal was.
Right. That's right. You would spread the word of Hephaestus. That's fantastic. Okay, cool. All right.
So I remember some of it.
Yeah. All right. So, Valerica, what'd you get on your Arcana?
I got a 12.
12? Okay.
I rolled really bad.
Okay. And what did you get, Thea?
24.
Yay!
Okay.
Religion bring it home.
Okay. Kind of looking around the library, you do a quick scan, Valerica. Your interest and divided thoughts in a myriad of other magical kind of pursuits that you would like to follow distract you slightly.
Paranoia about how much I'm holding in a bag of holding.
Well, there's that. Yeah, you also have a lot on your mind. It was a what again? A 14 or 12?
12.
12? Yeah. You don't find anything that stands out. In particular. Thea, on the other hand, you find a couple of books that seem to reference Dolgaunts and Dolgrims, which are some of the creatures that you fought, Beholders, and it seems to be a bit of a strange book on kind of extra planar kind of weirdness, but from a religious perspective and how it might interact with, faith and how cults might rise up. And it looks like it might grab your interest. It will take further reading to find any useful information in it, but you find a couple of the keywords just kind of scanning through it that you might be able to, to find something in there.
Can I get Lady Indric's attention?
Yep.
And show her the book? Lady Indric.
Yes.
I feel that of all the things that we have gone through thus far as a group, I found this book, and it's going to help us with cults or any other of the weird religions we have encountered, especially the ones that we somewhat encountered in the cave.
Sounds promising.
I think it's going to take a lot more reading, but as far as I know, this might be the one that we need.
All right, let's take it. How does that work here? I wonder. DM.
How does what
Can I
work?
take books from the library?
No.
Lady Indric,
I take anything.
Okay, I have an idea. I have an idea. I need you to go distract all of the librarians in the nearest vicinity.
Oh, Lord.
Just keep everybody away from me. And give me like 20 minutes.
I will do so. However, I will also offer my services if you need to. If you are, I mean, your tongue is much better than mine in distracting. And I don't know if I've ever told you, but when I was younger, I was an urchin. So taking things for a greater purpose is something I'm good at.
Right. A little bit more difficult with this many magical wards around here, but a good thing to keep in mind.
Will do. So what shall you have me do? Shall I take or shall I distract?
Go distract.
Will do, Lady Indric.
I'm going to try to copy the book. It's just going to take a lot of concentration.
Fantastic. And Thea takes off and distracts.
I'm going to pull out one of my spell shards because I have 3 empty ones.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to scan for every relevant page, scan through it, and transfer it to the spell shard.
Okay. Describe the
You know which
process of
shard?
using the spell shards for us.
Okay. So Valerica's gonna just kind of like sit crisscross on the ground, like just trying to be like, nope, I'm not a noble, and read really quickly and like focus on the words and project her thoughts onto the spell shard, which is about this big and purple in my mind.
Okay. Okay.
How long would it take me to do this?
Gotta double check. Never really used your spell shard for anything.
You know which shard I'm talking about, though,
Oh no,
right?
I know
We've talked
exactly what
about
you're
this.
talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
Spell shards, they're there.
Technically, my wizard book is in another spell shard.
Yeah, that's true. It would take you about the same amount of time as it would take you to read and write normally.
So I take 20 minutes and I try to get all of the relevant information in the shard.
Okay. Go ahead and make an intelligence check for me, please.
At least I have a high modifier. Okay. Can I get advantage on this?
Why?
I've done it before as a wizard because I'm bookish. My character is very bookish and a bit sneaky and has researched in this library many times.
No.
Damn.
That is what your intelligence modifier is. That's what that's for.
Yeah, that was not 1.
Plus
4 or plus 3, so total of 4.
total of 4.
That dice goes to jail. That dice goes to jail.
That does go to jail.
No,
That's the
send it.
second now.
It's
What?
having a hard day. Send it to a spa. Let it relax. It's clearly under a lot of pressure. Maybe it's not doing well on the stream. Maybe it's getting stage fright.
God. It's giving me fright.
Okay, so
4. The number of words successfully transferred.
okay, so your it's great.
Damn it.
You're not incredibly confident with the amount of information that you have kind of passed along. I will make a note that trying to recover information will be done at disadvantage.
Womp womp. Okay.
But you got something in there.
Do I feel like it's worth trying to spend more time on? Or trying to barter with them to take the book? Or do I feel confident that I have gotten what I could?
You could spend more time. You feel as though if you actually had more time, you could probably get more in, for sure.
Right.
But you're running out of time as far as keeping your deadline with your friends. You
Feel
also
free.
know
I'm
that they're
asking the librarians about medicine.
sure,
So they're showing me all the books about medicine from the old days.
and they're happy to
whatever's
talk about
now.
it and
Oh,
all the
yeah.
various applications of magic and how it has
I'm gonna
huge
spend like the rest
implications.
of our time doing this up to that like 6-hour deadline.
Okay. Sure.
How much more time do I have?
At this point, save an hour or two.
Okay. I'll spend the time doing that.
Okay. Make
then
another
space.
make another intelligence check.
Okay,
See how
new
well you
dice.
do.
New dice.
Circle. While that's happening, you approach the brain failed.
Blacksmith.
Are you going to the blacksmith or to the alchemist first?
Which one is closer from where we are?
Oh, the alchemist is like right there.
Then I'm going to Alchemist.
Going to alchemist? Okay. All right. Yeah. So you approach the door to the alchemist, the tilted cauldron, and it looks a little different. You immediately notice emblazoned on the lintel on the kind of the arch of the door appears to be the symbol of your deity.
I grab onto my hammer around my neck in praise, and I thank Hephaestus for his gift.
All right.
And I enter.
All right. Going in, you are immediately assaulted by the massive amount of smells of herbs and concoctions and decoctions and mixtures and a not insignificant amount of gunpowder in the air.
Bless.
And behind the counter, with her very large spectacles, her heavily dreaded hair. Some of it looks like it's been singed off, but it's all kind of tightly pulled back. She's got this kind of messy, scorched apron, bottles everywhere on her person. You see the familiar shopkeep, Juliana Churchill.
Hephaestus bless you.
And Hephaestus bless you. Welcome
How-
back, Master Thurgle.
It is a pleasure to see you again. How things seem to have prospered. How are you?
Well, ever since you taught us some of your ways, we've had some adherence, and well, I must say, he is a mighty fine deity.
Isn't he? He is very, very graceful with what he produces for his followers.
Very much so, very much so. I am more than grateful that you introduced me to someone who is willing to empower me and the people who work here. But what can I do for you?
I was coming to see how I may procure some of this excellent powder that we have produced.
All you have to do is ask. How much do you need?
How much have you produced? I do not want to take from all of your stocks, but I do require at least a large sum, maybe several tons worth, a couple barrels.
Dude, we need a blasting room in the house now.
Well, I don't have any of that quantity on me right now, but I have. She goes back. She pulls out a moderately sized chest that she opens and is full of essentially parcels of gunpowder in bags.
This is exceptional. How much would you like for the lot?
We'll call this one repayment. Now, future exchanges, cost of goods, but we'll call this one repayment. This has been a boon for all of us.
Of course. Is there any advice I may be able to provide a technique to be able to assist you more for future endeavors?
If you've gleaned any new information that he's not shared with us already, we'd be more than happy to learn.
Of course. Sit with me a while. I will pray with you and see if he may be able to bestow any additional information.
All right. So you'll spend the next few hours doing that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and make a religion check. See how it goes.
I feel like I'm watching the other two clerics over there being like, God damn it, he's already converted more people.
Yeah, clerics, did you know you can go on conversion missions for your gods? He's literally converting every blacksmith we find to his religion.
Really
Because
funny.
he worships a forge god. So he's like, hey, you want to output like 10 times more than you thought possible? Bam.
Bam.
It's not good. You said religion?
Religion, yeah.
Okay.
With advantage because they're receptive.
Okay. That does make it better.
Good. Not by much, though.
It is a 7.
Okay. This is
You're
less.
rolling like
This is less a kind of a pass fail and more of a degree of success. You spend the next few hours in praise and celebration, and you go over some of the notes that they've taken, some of the experiments that they've done. They've refined the process quite considerably. They are able to produce a lot more with a lot more of a refined process, which is pretty great. Still not perfect, but you together don't glean a whole lot of new information, but you do spend an afternoon. Solemn and joyful, solemn but joyful prayer and reverence. Definitely a strengthened relationship with Juliana and her assistants.
Perfect.
All right, Valerica, what'd you get?
12, which is better.
12, better. Okay,
Better than
it is better than a 4. You do feel more confident that you got some decent information. So instead of a disadvantage, it'll just change the DCs up a little bit.
okay.
Cool.
Technically, this reads like a normal book.
I know. I'm aware.
Okay. All's fair in magic.
Yep. Okay, but time comes for you to reconvene.
So I grab and I'm like, ready to go.
All right. You guys gonna be reconvening back at the Indric estate and trying to get those cannons through the thing?
And live course.
And live source. Okay.
I think that's everything.
How are you planning on doing that exactly?
Distracting my mother and doing it as quickly as possible.
Okay. Distracting your mother and doing it as quickly as possible. All right.
Alright, if we take a training dummy, Mom, or like a few, because we have the repairing training dummies, right?
Yes, I suppose you can take one.
I'd love to take one. I think that my party could use blowing off some steam.
Yes, because goodness knows fighting Eldritch Abominations is blowing off enough steam.
A lot of anger right now about the blackmail situation.
Well, I'm sure they'll get what's coming to them.
Hopefully.
Do you need those cannons moved?
Thurgle, are we taking both or one?
They're taking up a large amount of space.
Yeah,
We have your carriage too. Do you want that one too?
Can we take everything through the teleportation
It's not
circle?
going to fit in the house, unfortunately. So if you have...
I can draw a teleportation circle outside. That's fine. That's probably the easiest way to do this, honestly.
Okay. You going to draw a teleportation circle outside?
Yeah, we're going to gather up everything, and I'm going to take the 10 minutes and draw the circle on the ground, and we're going to teleport that way.
Okay. All right.
And we're going to bring... Thurgle, do you need to... Do you have a small horse here? Do we still have Thurgle's horse?
I asked about Zeus a while ago. You said he was killed.
He disappeared because he was a magical steed.
When the paladin left us.
Yeah, the wolf was magical. Zeus was just...
Right.
Oh, Zeus was your horse then. Yes, the horse is fine.
Zeus is here then.
Your mundane animals are fine.
Yeah.
Please, let us bring Zeus.
Okay,
so we're going to get
our animals with you when we went on that last mission. So.
Yeah, we're going to grab Zeus. We're going to grab Ash, which is Archie. And Thea, pick a horse.
That one.
All right, cool.
I'll take the most beautiful, tallest one.
Sorry, Archie's already taken. Try again.
All right.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, I got one. There it is.
That is Zeus.
That
That one is mine.
All right. So your mother assists in the process using her own not inconsiderable magic to get things
we also
moving.
have like a Goliath. I'm asking my mother, do you think there's a mount that would better suit a Goliath?
A very large horse.
Do we have any large horses?
No.
Are there any large horses in Kornsberg that I can purchase?
Oh, you can find one.
Stablehand. You busy?
Right away, milady.
Where is the cheese and bread I asked for?
It's already packed up for you.
Oh, yes, thank you. Please, Vestas be with you.
Cool. They're not about your nonsense right now. This is great. All right, so you just need another horse.
Yeah.
We'll resolve that one quickly because it's mundane.
Can I find like an elk? for Uther?
No.
I was saying,
I
speaking of
tried.
books, I just realized if we only still have our mundane creatures, that means my beautiful Aemir is gone.
Mm.
Oh,
All right. So what do you want? Draft horse, riding horse, or war horse?
owlbear.
Draft horse.
Draft horse, 75 gold pieces.
Draft horse is going to be the largest of those, actually.
Yeah,
Memory serves.
close enough.
We'll get a draft horse.
Okay.
You know those horses that like go in the Budweiser commercials in the snow with like the long fur?
Yes, the Clydesdale.
Clydesdales.
Let's get one of those.
All right.
Uther gets one of those.
Sure. Well, so since you want a special horse, call it 75 gold pieces. That's fine.
His name is Clyde.
Oh my God, Uther can name him or her, whomever. All right. So
75.
cool. You got a horse.
Am I paying for Thea's horse too?
No, it's your family's thing.
Okay.
We'll assume that you got your bit and tackle and or your bit and bridle and all those things. Saddle. Okay.
Okay.
So as I choke on
teleportation
water,
circle.
apparently, it takes a little bit of maneuvering and a little bit of time, but with your mother's help especially, you manage to get things all settled. Unfortunately, the wagon itself is entirely too large for a teleportation circle to handle. It's huge, guys. It's a massive object.
What if we tip it on its side? I'm not there. Don't listen to me.
So you're
Circle, have to get the pillows and the cloths and the little animal holders. We have to.
Would we be able to have space if I were to break it down with fabricate to raw materials and build it later?
totally, yeah. If you break it down to raw materials, totally.
I'm going to do that. I will raise my hand and use fabricate to level 4 to break it down so that we can bring it into the house.
All right, works for me. So you gather all your supplies up.
Without this fucking thing.
So you gather all of your things up.
Every single time we move this thing in and out of the house, we're gonna have to disassemble it and reassemble it.
I'm fine with you spending 2 4th level spell slots whenever.
Just so you guys all know, this thing we lined with like premium pillows. It was our requirement when we started this.
Like,
So we have
there's
like
a color matching set for each person.
You'll have to do,
everybody
you'll have
has
to do a
their
little
own,
work
like,
to
brand
match the
pillows
new
in
people.
one corner of this. It's great.
Yeah.
And there's like special little hutches in it for each animal to feel like perfectly at home. Like Sparks has like a little gilded cage with a little pile of gold on it in it for him to sit on top of. Like, it's a whole thing.
It's great.
Oh my gosh. We have to go get Sparks and Soul
Oh yes, we do.
before we leave.
Okay.
Okay, so as we're doing our final rounds, Thea and I realized we've left our familiars alone and dart off inside.
Well,
Okay.
that is
For
fine.
some reason, you run to get your familiars rather than just summoning them, so that's fine.
We also want to see the kid.
Okay. All right. So with all of your logistics sorted out, you go into again the receiving room, and already it seems as though Hana is studying something.
What you reading there?
Oh, this is a little about Kornsberg and the people here, since it's very different from home. I need to know some things, apparently.
That's fair.
But they said they would teach me more, so
Do you like that?
I think so. I miss my father, but I think this is a good place.
About your father. When we were in the city, I just when we were in the city, we found out that he passed away. So, welcome to your new home. And your sibling rub on the head and take my dragon and dip. And leave Saya standing there with the child.
I think Thea is trying not to cry, but she's holding it in. And so she kneels down to Hana and grabs her and just holds her and hugs her and tells her, "You are going to do so well here, and we will see you soon again."
Your dad's dead. Peace.
She looks like watches Valerica leave. Gets pulled in by you.
She pulls her into her breast it's way too tight of a hug.
My father's dead? Did the plague
He
get
is.
him?
Unfortunately, we did not see how he died. We were just told that he had passed.
Deception fucking check, dude.
Yeah. What's up, Thurgle? While she's making her deception roll. What's up,
But
Thurgle?
she wasn't there. It's true, though.
She was.
They saw him die.
I thought she had gone outside with the kid and only Uther watched it happen.
I left the moment Uther was about to start speaking to the guy.
What was your thing, Thurgle?
Once I finish with my fabricate, I was going to go into either say goodbye to Valerica's mom and see if I may be able to find Hannah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you okay?
I am now outside. I'm done.
You see Valerica dip right out, like she's on fire, like actually on fire, and not the way that she wants to be. And you walk into the room. You see Thea is now consoling Hana, who's got a bit of a blank expression on her face, and you see the Baroness just standing there, arms crossed, looking a little miffed.
I give it a little nod.
Ah, Master Thurgle. I'm glad I got to see you. How are you?
I currently getting by. How are you?
Thinking about how I'm going to help this poor child that my daughter decided to traumatize.
That explains the run.
Yes. Well, I suppose it's never too young to learn. Well,
May I? As I motion to Hannah.
so what was your deception roll, Thea?
It was a solid 7.
7?
Oh, no. This poor child.
She looks at you dead in the face. Did you kill him?
No. None of us in this group had anything to do with your father's death.
Roll a persuasion check.
Oh, no. Oh, my God, Thea, do not fuck this up.
Dude, if she fails this, we just gave a villain origin story.
That's a 4?
Oh, my God.
What's your modifier? What's your modifier? Dear gods, I'm not here.
She's gonna kill all of us. Oh my God.
He kind of looks down for a moment. You see, just the tears starting to form. She kind of sniffs and wipes her eyes. Very well. And I am glad to be in my new home. Hello, Mr. Thurgle.
Hannah. Reach out, place my hand under her chin. You are your own person. You make your decisions going forward. Despite what has happened in your life, you can change it for you. Make your decisions going forward for you. I give her a little kiss on her forehead and leave.
We're all so fucked.
Can Soul, after that moment, run down up to Hana and tap on her and try to hand her a gold coin?
Sure.
'Cause that's-
your
that's all
mouse
Soul
just
has ever done with
pushes
kids.
over a coin. She picks it up, scratches him a little bit. Thank you, Soul. Well, I think I need to get back to reading. Thank you for bringing me here. Say goodbye to the others for me.
Of course, Hannah. May Hephaestus bless you.
We're all gonna die.
Thank you very much. And she turns to kind of sadly go back to the book she was reading. You walk out, and Drana approaches you. I say this with all the love in my heart. Please, none of you have children anytime soon. Or at least get better at lying to them.
Was not planning on it myself.
No, your words were quite lovely, thank you, Thurgle, but hey, you're a woman of the cloth. You should be adept at lying.
I know! But this young lady just has brought such a peace to my heart that I just couldn't.
Well, I'll do what damage control I can. But
Oh man.
she has a lot to think about. So, well, I wish all of you well. Be safe. Good luck. Let me know if you need my help. I'll let you know if I need yours.
Oh, hi, Mom.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh. Hurry off.
Almost done with the circle.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna go give her a hug. Be like, sorry, don't let her come kill us.
I'll do my best.
Okay, bye. Skips off to the circle.
All right. Doesn't take much for you guys to get back to the puzzle box mansion whatsoever. All right.
So we're back in.
You're back in.
I'm gonna tie up all of the new horses to the stable and get them
Situated.
situated,
All right.
fed. Tell Stardust that she's the alpha.
Okay. The alpha horse. Got it. Totally. Because that's how horses work.
Pressure main.
Pray.
I'm pressure main.
Your animal handling skill is just about as good as your child handling skill.
Do you want an animal handling
No.
check? Persuade her.
No, we don't need an origin story for your horse.
And that was the day. God.
All right. So, are you sticking around in there? Or are you gonna reconvene with
No,
your
I'm
friends?
just gonna drop everybody off and pop out.
All right. So, for those of you who have been diligently waiting, eventually, as your deadline draws near, you see the warm glow of the puzzle box as it begins to emit its telltale warning that somebody is coming through. And eventually, one by one, each of your companions enters. You guys, it is a lot colder here than it was at home.
Oh my god!
Quite considerably.
I should have gotten jackets.
Thurgo may have passed out inside the house.
Fair enough.
So I'm going to tell Salima, hey, it looks like they're back. You could probably attune to the mansion now.
Yeah, by all means, Salima.
All right.
So the child may hunt us later. Something to be aware of.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Are we in the mansion or in the tavern outside of the mansion?
In the tavern.
We weren't out of the the mansion at first, but we saw the glow, so I'm assuming.
Uther, I got you a horse and some armor. Liv, you have your horse again.
Salima, you're muted.
We have a lot of healing potions.
Excellent.
What? That first bit. What?
I told her dad died. Then Salima tried to cover it up and say that we didn't see how, and her question and response was, "Did you kill my dad?" And I don't know how she took that.
Well, Valerica, dear, I've always known you're not all that tactful with children, but Thalea, I kind of assumed you'd be better at that.
I'm just gonna look at Uther
You're
and
on
his
mute,
horse,
Thea.
and I'm gonna.
You're still on mute,
Thea,
Thea.
you're mute.
Sorry, I was saying, I usually am quite composed, but there's something about this child that has just hit a chord in my heart, and I couldn't bear the thought of telling her how her father had died. Although, in my defense, I wasn't aware that we were going to tell her her father had died right before we took
She's
off.
just sitting there saying, "Oh, I miss my dad, and all I can think is he's dead. Don't bother. He's not coming back."
Yes, Valerica, again, I know you don't have very much tact with children. We've been over this, but as someone with many younger siblings, it might not have been the best decision without conferring with the rest of us.
Noted. If we have to deal with children again in the future, I will let someone else make that decision.
I'm gonna ask let me and possibly Uther, but
Uther? Really?
You know, considering how most of Uther's decisions go, it might be better for him to confer with children than to confer with
he's
adults.
got that temperament.
I got you a horse.
I feel like I've been insulted several times in this conversation.
I'm including you in the ability to confer with the young ones. So you and I are on the same level playing field.
I pull out the armor.
Possibly.
Tiny.
Ooh, armor.
So, as you
What's
all,
what's this armor, by the way?
Adamantine scale mail. Check it out. Go ahead, DM. Sorry.
so as you convene and regale each other with your delightful time in the impromptu shopping episode, you hear a banging knock on the door
Get in. Get
and
in.
a voice saying,
I hop in.
"Are you lot done?"
Get in.
I'm in.
Get in. Thurgle's asleep.
Thurgle's
get
in.
Yeah, I'm already inside. Probably.
Thurgle's
fucking
asleep. Valerica dipped out. You, as everyone's trying to scramble, this cacophony as the door cracks open. You see the hooded figure, the assassin of the mayor, stands there. So, you have an answer?
Wait, I'm sorry. Now he just burst into our mansion that you can't get into without
No,
being.
no, no. We're in the tavern.
You guys are in the tavern. Only some of
We're
you
talk-
jumped into the mansion. Where are the others? Time's wasting.
Doesn't matter.
First of all, how dare you break into this bar that I stole from I don't know who because it was abandoned in the first place? Have you no shame?
No.
It is a whole.
This is why Uther confers with children.
You watched me kill a man without any problem with there being witnesses. I clearly have no shame.
Yes, but he deserved it. I don't deserve this.
Not
Well,
my place to
alright,
judge.
Maybe I do. Honest answer, no. We haven't talked about it yet. Can you give me 10 minutes?
Fine. 10 minutes.
Thank you. Get outside.
See, he walks outside, and you can see a small contingent of soldiers and the emissary standing, arms crossed, just waiting. And that's where we're gonna wrap for the night.
We're surrounded right now.
Shit.
I love how we spent the entire day and didn't actually have that conversation yet.
Yep.
So, just for recap purposes for next week, though, who is where? Who is inside the house, the mansion, and who is outside
Well,
the mansion?
Thurgold declared he promptly passed out because he's exhausted, and Valerica just dipped because apparently she's McDippins tonight.
So I
So
kept saying get in the mansion to live.
Yeah,
I didn't get in yet.
so
it's not even attuned yet.
nope.
No, I didn't have enough time.
Guard on it, so I know I'm not inside.
Yep. So Thea, Uther, Selima, and Liv are all outside.
To live, it looks like you and I broke into the city somehow.
Hey, we all gave our ears. They can have a problem with that later.
And saluted.
All right. Well, either way, we will resolve this new conundrum next week. Thank you guys very much for playing. Keep an eye out for our socials for the full character sheets, and I believe next Thursday or next Friday is the day after Christmas.
No, Friday is Christmas.
Friday is Christmas. Cool. So our regular session will not be taking place.
And happy holidays to everybody.
Yes,
Whatever
happy
it is that you
holidays.
celebrate.
But we will pick up our regular schedule the week after. If everyone's good with that, we'll send out a notification if that changes, because it is also New Year's next week. These next 2 weeks are really strange. But
Yeah.
everyone watching, thank you very much. We appreciate all of you. You guys are fantastic. To all of my wonderful players, thank you guys. You guys are hilarious and always a joy. Happy holidays, everyone, and we will see you next time. Thank you very much.
Happy holidays. Hephaestus grants you with plenty of coal.
I will accept that gratefully at this point.
That's not how this works.
It is, because you need coal for forge. So that is how